Welcome back, everybody, to yet again another Getting to Know the Artist. I am Wiggles, your host, and today we are here with, correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but is it Doughpey or Doughpey?
It's dopey, like the dwarf.
Dopey. Yeah. All right. All right. Welcome. Welcome. We have Stefan in the chat. We have Wicked Widget. I swear there was somebody else in here, but I appreciate y'all holding it down while we were waiting to get started. Had a couple little things going on, but we made it. Juggalos are never on time, so that's okay too.
I fell asleep watching Reservoir Dogs.
Oh yeah, that's straight. I get it. Stefan said Billy whoop whoop
Whoop
and
whoop.
Wiggles.
Hell
That's what's
yeah.
up.
Shout out to the
Um,
homies.
yeah, he had a little bit of to do with getting you set up for an interview, so shout outs to him.
Hell yeah, he's a
Uh,
homie for sure.
we're gonna jump right in, my guy, with the first question, and that is, what is your name? Where was you born and raised, and where do you currently live now?
My name's Dopey. I was born in Dallas, Oregon. They don't actually have a hospital there anymore. And I live in Salem, Oregon, about 30 minutes from there.
Okay. Never wanted to move out of state, or you just like the area, or
I have moved out of state. When I was 16 years old, I moved to California. And I lived in California from like 16 to 18. I ended up being like homeless and just in a really bad situation, and so I ended up having to come back home. And yeah,
absolutely.
now the only time I leave is if like I'm traveling for fun or doing shows.
Okay, yeah. And I completely can relate. I've been homeless 3 times in my life, and it's never gets easier. It's never no fun.
Yeah, it's super tough. I lived in Oildale, California, which is a real fucking gutter shithole of a place. And like fucking I seen people get stabbed and fucking all kinds of crazy shit. And so yeah, it really wasn't the place to be. There's like fucking wild dogs and shit. Like
No
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts, dude.
Craziness. Yeah, I was just in rural Illinois and Indiana during my little times or whatever, but I didn't have to deal with no wild dogs per se, so
Yeah.
that was a little rough.
Well, what's crazy is like the dogs weren't even the scariest thing in the hood. Like one time me and my homie Jason were kicking it at his house, and we were chilling in the front yard smoking a blunt, and this dude comes running by just booking it. And Jason lived across the street from like this railroad track thing, and it was blocked off by a barbed wire fence. This dude fucking jumps and grabs onto the barbed wire and tries to pull himself up over, and this fucking dog comes like running down the street chasing after him, like snapping at him, trying to bite him. And so
Right.
fucking uh this is like right when I first moved there. I wasn't too familiar with where I was. And so Jason like gets up and starts like stomping at the dog and being all big and loud at it. So I joined with him. And so we're both like in the street, like stomping at this dog, like trying to scare it away and shit. And then the dude gets off the fucking fence and his hands are just covered in blood. They're like gushing blood, right? And fucking Jason's like, hey, you want to come in real quick? You can fucking wash up and fucking, uh, get all cleaned up. You don't have to be bleeding like that. And fucking the dude sizes us up and then looks at Jason's house, and he's like, nah, I'm good, dude. And he just kept walking down the street because like motherfuckers down there will fucking kill you and shit and like jack your shit. Like, he probably thought that we were just gonna take him to the house and take all his shit.
No shit,
Like
bro.
that's the kind of hood that it was, and so
Okay.
yeah,
Damn it.
fucking tough way to be homeless.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're back home then. The next question I have for you is, are you a juggalo? And if so, how long have you been down with the clowns? And then, do you consider yourself a juggalo rapper? Because some people don't want to be put in a box. Some people don't see a box. Some people don't care that they're in the box. So, what's
Yeah,
your...
I hear it and I feel it. I'm a juggalo for sure. I don't really count. I don't know. I started bumping ICP in like third grade, but I'm young. You know, third grade's 2003 for me, and so the fucking Wraith of Shangri-La is already out. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like in the grand scheme of things, I ain't been down since fucking people have been down since day one, but I have been down like my whole life. Um, and so yeah, probably like 20 something years. I rap for juggalos and myself. Like sometimes like I'll make music that's like just for me and I'll still release it. But when I'm making a song that's like a club song or just like about smoking weed, something vibey, or even writing a story, I do a lot of stories. Like I write that shit for juggalos. Um
Right.
that being said, I don't really consider myself a juggalo rapper. Just because I don't lean on the cornerstones of our culture
Culture.
in order to make music. You know what I'm saying? And so
Right.
I feel like I could make a song that's like strictly for juggalos. It could only be by juggalos and still not have all of like the mainstream references in
Right. Right. No, absolutely. So then, what do you classify your genre as then? Like, where do you mainly hang out in? Like, what category or niche or I don't know.
there. When I upload to streaming services, I put hip hop and comedy. Uh I feel like I'm somewhere in there. I mean, horrorcore is a big part of what I do, but there's only like 3 or 4 songs, so probably only like a quarter of every album is actually like really horrorcore stuff, and then the other stuff is usually like pretty introspective or like trippy or something like that, or stories. And so I don't know. For me, it's all about like crafting words together. I love the puzzle of like figuring out the structure of a rhyme scheme and then figuring out how to put multiple syllable rhymes within that structure. And so I often write music that like is more about punchlines than it is about shock humor, and that's why I think I'm more of a hip hop artist than I am a juggalo rapper.
Absolutely. No, dude, that's a solid answer. Personally, I consume all kinds of music. So rather it is niche, juggalo rap or just trap rap or horrorcore, I'm gonna take it as it comes. And I believe that what you just said is absolutely true. You as a person are a juggalo. So you don't have to make you know what I'm saying? Like, sure, your songs might naturally feel kind of catered, perhaps, not saying, but, to a juggalo that can relate or knows or whatever. But, I mean, yeah, as you said, you're not like dropping whoop whoop and fago and like the terms that,
Right.
most people do or whatever. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
absolutely.
And like
All right.
honestly, where I'm from, like we our cheap soda's called Shasta. Like you can go get a fucking 2 liter of Shasta for like 60 cents. Like still to this day, you know what I'm saying? And so like I feel like if I was really coming down to it and being real to myself and where I came up while representing the culture, I would shout out Shasta sodas and not
Right,
Fago
not
sodas.
fago. Yeah.
And so I do that from time to time too. Um, so yeah, I feel like it's as a rapper in the culture who's a juggalo, it's important to put like as much of your individualism into the culture that you can, because it's really all about being yourself at the end of the day. And so
Right.
if you're just acting like somebody else because you feel like that's what other people want to hear, then you're not doing anybody a favor. You're just fucking pandering, honestly. So
Right. Absolutely.
so
Um,
sorry. Pause for just like 2 seconds.
good. There's four people in here. Start thinking of questions for this man ahead of time. Start throwing them in the chat ahead of time, and maybe I'll refer back to them. I might have to retell you to type them in the chat. Be sure to hit that like button. Whether you're watching it on the replay or live, it is a small gesture from you, but a big favor to me and the YouTube algorithm. It shoots it out. It gets more people in here. Maybe get some more homies in here, some new people in here to ask new questions. So most definitely.
Hell yeah. Sorry about that. I forgot my
No,
ashtray.
you're good. Uh, what inspired you to make music? Like, what was the switch that made you say, I think I want to actually do this and like take it serious?
Well, here's what's crazy is like I've been writing my whole life. I'm a writer. If anybody asks me like what my passion is, it's writing way more than it is rapping. But I've always been in love with rap music. There's not a time in my life where like I didn't wasn't completely obsessed with it. Anyway, so I've been writing like poems and short stories and raps and things like that ever since I was a little kid, but I didn't realize that like being a rapper is something that you can do. I thought it was just like as real as people on TV. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so like as a kid, I never really like chased it because I didn't think that it was real. And then like I was like 18 years old and I had my own place and I was seeing this lady and she had her friend come over and he was super into dubstep and fucking he made beats. And I was like, "Oh shit, you make beats? I want to make music." And he was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And so we threw together a couple songs and I just fucking fell in love with the process. Like I already knew it was something that I wanted to do, but it was like in that moment that it clicked to me that it's something that I not only can do, but that I could succeed at and have fun doing. And so
Absolutely.
my parents fucking suck for not letting me know that when I was like 6 because I fucking started late. But yeah, that's how I got
Stefan
into it.
said he is an amazing vocalist and asked, is Billy going to the gathering?
Yeah, I will be there this summer. Normally, it's tough for me to go because I only get my oldest son in the summers, but he's at the age where like his friends are the most important, so he's spending the summer with his mom. So I'm spending the summer doing crazy shit, and the gathering is on the list.
Yeah, I like it. Um, okay. Who do you look up to in the music industry? And that's mainstream or underground, dead or alive.
Um, I really look up to Atmosphere. Fucking, I I'm not. I listen to his music. I'm not like one of his biggest fans or anything like that. I do know that he's like crazy talented, and like I said, I listen to some of his music. But for me, it's that he was doing a show in Portland once, and I tried to open for it, and so I couldn't find the promoter for the show, and so I hit up the venue, and I was like, "Yo, who's promoting this show?" And the venue owner like laughed and was like, "This is an Atmosphere show. It's being promoted by Atmosphere." And I was like, "He doesn't have a promoter?" And like the venue owner was like, "Oh no, dude, this guy does everything on his own. He doesn't have a promoter. He doesn't have a manager. He doesn't have a label. He runs everything on his own." And like I in that moment, because like Atmosphere isn't crazy like successful. He is successful, but he's not like crazy successful. But he successfully makes music and has a home life and balances the money in the middle, and that's honestly the dream. And so
Right, that's real success.
yeah. And so ever since I realized that that's how he runs his game, that's kind of been a goal of mine. Is just kind of like I want to like run it all on my own.
So then you don't, is that kind of what you do now then, or do you outsource for like mix mastering and
No,
whatnot?
I don't run any of it on my own. I work with a team of pretty awesome people.
Right on, right
Um,
on.
yeah. Well, yeah. So like mostly the people in my corner would be I use my team studios for recording, and then the guy who runs my team studios does all my most of my mixing and mastering. I get like 90% of my beats from Stir Crazy. Just 'cause I fucking love that guy, and his beats are exactly what I need. If I want custom beats, I get them from Grady Finch. That motherfucker is crazy talented, and he's super good at like making music. Just like I could call him and be like, "Yo, I need something that goes like ba da 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 diddy boom bop bop," and he'd be like, "I got you."
And he created, yeah.
And so fucking that's like that's who I consider like the main people in my corner. When it comes to like promotion and booking shows and stuff, I do that all on my own. But like the actual making of music, I rely on those three people pretty heavily.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing wrong with having a team and a reliable one at that. You know, people that you feel are working with you, not against you, or not just to get their cut.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's stupid how affordable I get things from people who I work with just because of like how often I'm working. You know what I'm saying? Like my team charges me like half as much as they charge everyone else, but like I show up twice as much as everybody else does. So it wouldn't make sense
Right,
for me to fucking pay that much, you know?
right, right. Um, okay, yeah. Next question I have for you is a fun one. Are there any current projects in the work? What's
Yeah.
next? Are you working on any songs, any shows, any tours, any one-off concerts, any what's new? What's coming?
Well, I'm constantly doing like one-off shows. Like I just opened for Kung Fu Vampire a couple weeks ago. It was probably like my fourth or fifth time opening for him. I normally do his shows when he's in this area. And then I'm opening for King ISO next month. Or yeah, I think it's next month. Yeah, it's next month. Uh, and so I'm constantly doing shows. As for projects, though, I am currently working on two separate albums. I've been working on them for a while now. One of the albums is Buffalo Billy's Love Pit Volume 2. When I started doing this, I had the intention of dropping a Love Pit album every Valentine's Day. I'm a busy motherfucker and I'm a perfectionist. There's no way I'm ever gonna drop anything on the day that I actually thought I would. It doesn't fucking work out ever. And so I've decided that I'm just gonna drop love pits whenever I want, and I'm just gonna consistently keep working on love pits, and they will probably come out every year, but I don't really give a shit what date they come out on. Um,
Right.
but yeah, Buffalo Billy's Love Pit is like a deranged fucking trip into everything that love is. And so the first Love Pit starts out with a song called Every Time We Fuck. It's probably my most popular song. It's a cover of Cascadia's Every Time We Touch. The beat was made by Grady Finch. It was mixed and mastered by Grady Finch. He did such a wonderful job making it sound good. And then from there it goes into like a song about sex, and then from there it's my love song to weed. And then there's two actual love songs, and I don't know, something else on there too. And so that's like the first one. The second one that I'm working on right now is pretty fucking hardcore. It's gonna be 8 tracks. Right now, we're mostly waiting on. I'm working on a song called "Low Jams," which is like a cover or parody to Kanye West's "Slow Jams." And again, beat mixed mastered by Grady Finch. He's working on it right now, and once that's done, we'll drop the album. So that's coming real soon. And then everything for Shutter is also recorded, but Shutter's like my magnum opus. I've been working on it for about 2 years now. Um, and I'm really proud of it, and it's almost right where it needs to be. I feel like by the time that Buffalo Billy's Love Pit Volume 2 gets enough exposure, I'll be ready to release it and promote it properly.
Okay, yeah. Sounds like you really you're consistent. You seem like you have stuff planned out, even if it's not like direct, like you said. You might pick a day or expect a day, but it doesn't happen. But you got enough things going on, and you're keeping it moving and fresh. You mentioned a couple songs there that you really liked, or people seem to like. So my next two questions line up with that perfectly. The first one being, what's your favorite song that you have made that is personal to you for one reason or another? And then the next question to coincide with that is, what is a song that you would suggest to somebody just finding you and you're trying to get them hip or hooked to your music?
Um, mm, it's tough for me to pick a favorite song of mine by me, but the one that means the most to me is called "Running on the Rhythm." It's a song that I did with Boondocks. My lyrics in it are super personal. Every time I listen to it, it like brings a fucking tear to my eye. But also, that collab was the first time that like I had ever reached out to like a bigger artist like on my own without like some sort of gatekeeping middleman. Um,
Right.
and like Boondocks was so fun to work with. He responded to me almost immediately. I sent him the song idea. I let him know like what I was working on, like album wise, and he was like, "Yeah, no, this song idea is like wonderful." And he bounced ideas off of me, like what he would put in his verse, and we had a really nice conversation. And so like, dude, I grew up listening to Boondocks, like
Right.
fucking dude, just 13-year-old me alone in a dark room, untold, unwritten. You know what I'm saying? Like, Boondocks really fucking lives in a fucking sacred part of my soul. And so fucking yeah, just that whole experience was really cool. And it taught me that I don't need fucking gatekeeping ass fucking middlemen to do the collabs for me. If you have an EPK that you can stand on, artists will respond to you.
Right. I obviously I'm not an artist, but I take my shot, man, sometimes, like trying to get artists onto my show. Like I'll just shoot my shot and either they're gonna deny it, reply, or not, you know what I'm saying? I know in the music industry as far as an artist, it's a little
No,
different. And sometimes it helps to have, that connection with that gatekeeping middleman, as you say, or whatever. But sometimes it does you better to be you and just, hey, look, this is what I got, this is who I am. I ain't got a whole lot of money or fame, yada yada. Can we do something or not? And when those connections actually happen, they mean more. They're more pure, and I think they're better for you, or you're better off for it, or whatever. So big kudos for taking the shot and just reaching out to him. That's pretty dope.
yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. I also run a podcast. It's called 17 Bowls, and it's honestly way harder to get guests onto the podcast than it is to get fucking music collabs.
It's
I
funny, your boy just mentioned that. He said, "Oh, ask about 17 bowls." So I'll put that up there. um,
yeah, no, 17 Bowls is my brain baby. It's on a break right now. We haven't done an episode in probably like 6 7 months just because I've been super busy with my two albums, and I also make music videos for people, and I do animation and all kinds of other things, so I'm super busy, and it had to take a seat on the
a
back
little
burner.
bit of
But
a break.
it's coming back in the summer. I have kids, so and I'm not with their mom, and so when I'm free, I don't want to spend that time doing the podcast. I'd rather spend that time kicking it with my kids. But in the
Yeah,
summer, they don't have school. It's not like a weekends thing, and so I'll probably start doing the podcast again in the summer. But
I'm
with
about to
that
write
being,
this down. Is that the name of the channel? 17 bowls.
yeah, yeah, every episode we smoke 17 bowls.
Nah, I love it.
And yeah, as for recommending a song for of mine for people to listen to, there's a
Yeah.
song. It's it's called Sauce. It's on the 17 Bulls channel. It's not released on any streaming platforms. It's not on my main YouTube channel. You can only find it on the 17 Bulls channel. But I feel like that is my best song released to date. It really shows what Shutter is going to be, and like all of the work and effort I've put into that project. So yeah, if anybody's trying to figure out what the future of Doughpey sounds like, Sauce.
The sauce. Yes. That's awesome, man. Heck yeah. Uh, okay, so I'm trying to figure you out here a little bit. You got a little bit of a team. You work by yourself though. Uh, you're a family man, or you at least got some kids, and you devote time and stuff to that, which I love. What's your 5 year plan, man? What's the plan with the music? Are you gonna be signed? Are you gonna have your own label? Are you gonna stay independent? Most artists that take their music seriously try to set out that 5 year game plan each, or whatever. If I reached out to you in 5 years, where would you be? So
That's a good ass question. So I've been doing this for a long time now. I think that Kung Fu show that I just did was actually my 9 year anniversary of doing shows. It marks my 9 years of since my first show. So I've been doing this a long time. I got an opportunity way back in the day to tour, and I did go on tours. I went on a mini tour. I did like most of the West Coast, and then we dipped into, or the top part of the West Coast, then we dipped into Nevada, and just shit like that. But like yo, I'd be gone for like a month and a half at a time, and I'd come back, and like my kids would have like a new haircut, or they'd be talking a little different, and it would honestly like break my heart. I felt like I was missing like the most important part of life, so I didn't want to tour anymore. I'd rather
Right.
just kick it with my kids and just do my shit from home. So I'm still kind of in that zone at this point. My kids are 8, 10, and 12. Soon they'll be fucking 12, 14, 16, and won't really give a fuck what I'm doing. And so I might
Right.
explore more around then. But yeah, every single person that I look up to in the industry, their biggest regret now that they're all fucking 50 plus years old is that they missed out on their kids' life. And so I'm honestly not trying to make that same mistake. And I have so much energy and more shit in me that like I'm not really in any rush to make that step. I have an amazing foundation. If I dropped an album tomorrow, I would make enough money to fund the next album. So I am sitting in a really sweet spot, like in a monetization sort of way. Um,
Right.
that being said, 5 years from now, I will probably just be doing the same shit on a bigger scale. And then also, I have been directing a shit ton of music videos lately. And it seems like fate is pushing me into the direction of being a videographer. Um,
Hey.
and so that will probably be a huge dude. Like genuinely, like I've made over $1,000 in fucking music videos, like in the last month. Like,
That's beautiful.
anyway, fucking what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, and so I'll probably do that. And then also about a month ago, I finished writing my first book. And so right now I'm super dedicated into turning that into a graphic novel. And so 5 years from now, I could also be like a successful author. I don't really
Yeah,
know, dude. I
published
be
a book and
following.
stuff. I had a poem published once, but it was just in a little whatever book, nothing really big or notable. But no, I'm with it. It sounds like you're an entrepreneur, sir. Like you have some backup plans and some ideas, and you have other passions or things that you're obviously capable of doing. Might I ask what you do then? I mean, outside of music, is music and this whole thing your main 9 to 5, or do you also work a 9 to 5 that we don't know about?
No, I'm a behavioral technician. So I work with autistic kids to help them like learn like just kind of like to talk or socialize, just basic like learning blocks, that way they can transition into a school setting more easily. um and so yeah,
Wow.
right now, the way that my job is structured, I just work with one kid mainly, and then if I need more money or more hours, then I'll fill in for people's like lunches and breaks, and then at that point my whole day is just hanging out with a bunch of different kids. um
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm a teacher, long story short.
dude, that's so dope.
Yeah,
Um,
it's the best job I've ever had. I fucking love it.
okay, so and then I asked though, my next question is so weird. These questions work out usually in our conversations will lead into the next question without me even trying, and it just I like how that works. That's me kind of tooting my own self on the back. I don't know. Ignore that. My next thing is so then if not music, then what? But you pretty much just answered like you would be a teacher probably, or you would maybe be writing poems or something, or is
Bro,
there another hobby or something, or passion, or
yeah, I couldn't be more excited for the book that I just finished. Like, I've gotten nothing but good feedback on it. I feel almost like addicted to reading it. I've already started the second one. And so, if you would have asked me like 6 months ago, I would have never said it. But I genuinely think I'm going to be an author.
oh,
But like, it seems weird saying this is such a new thing in my life. So, I'm not really certain. But I'm leaning into it very hard right now.
that's amazing. I'm not big on reading books unless it's something I'm really like interested in. But the fact that you're a homie and you're gonna write a random book, like if it publishes, man, let me know. I'll buy a copy and read it. Can you tell us anything about the story? A little
Um,
prelude?
Yeah, I'll send you a Google Drive link with it, or not Google Drive, but a Google Doc link with it in it too. And if you ever want to check it out, like a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, I'll just read the first chapter and then put it down," you know. And then like next thing they know, it's they're on fucking chapter 10, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"I can't put this bitch down." So that's my challenge to people is like, "Yo, read the first chapter, and then if you can put it down, fine." But anyway, it's a story about this girl who's a witch. She falls in love in with this other girl, and when they're young, she uh, without me giving away too many details, she uses witchcraft uh, in a way that manipulates the girl that she's in love with. Her intent wasn't really bad, but
Right.
in the future, it comes back and fucking bites her in the ass, and they break up. And instead of handling it rationally, she uses magic to try to fix it, but she ends up looping back in time to her into her younger self, and that gives her a chance to like rekindle their relationship, but she fucks it all up.
Oh,
And she ends up making like a new best friend who is probably the coolest fucking person you could imagine the coolest person you can imagine. That's this motherfucker. And they end up fucking becoming like she starts mastering chloromancy and just becomes like an all-out fucking badass witch. He ends up turning into like this immortal wizard. He's not actually magic though, he's not a wizard, but he's a fucking ninja. He does legit, he practices kung fu for like 500 years. Anyways, fucking at the end of the day, the love's out of the question, so she's got to convince the girl who she was originally in love with to kill her, but in this timeline that they're in, yeah, they don't, that girl doesn't even know her, so she's got to essentially convince a stranger to murder her. That doesn't work out, but she's like this close to it, and she's all like tied down to a chair, and that girl's got a gun to her, and she's like, fucking like, I don't want to do this. And right as she's about to do it, the cops come in and shoot her in the fucking head. And then so,
no.
yeah, dude. And so fucking so it fucks it all up. And then there it does have a happy ending. I fixed it.
So how come this ain't published yet? Like, why don't you have it on actual book?
Well, I just wrote it. Well, it just got finished being written like a month ago, and I really want to turn it into a graphic novel. So I got to get the art. I got to get the art commissioned. So I was
Okay.
looking at a couple different artists. I'll probably just use the artist who makes all of my album art. But then that turns into like a payment thing. And right now my funds are kind of tied up in the two albums that I'm working on.
Right, right.
And so I'm still drafting ideas, and I also animate. I've recently learned how to use stable diffusion. I kind of think that I can use stable diffusion to take real life pictures of scenes that I want in the graphic novel and then use stable diffusion to alter them to look like a graphic novel. So I've thought about doing that, but yeah, I'm still rolling around heads. Like for ideas in my head, like for me, like a month is a really short period of time. So
Right on, man. That's fucking dope. I've written poetry, but I couldn't imagine writing a book, and it does sound interesting. And I also know about like the whole artist and reaching out for that. My old lady does digital art or whatever, and does commissions and the whole payment thing and all of that good stuff. So I know a little bit about that. What about as a kid, man? Did you want to be a Arthur or an artist or maybe you actually wanted to be like a firefighter or something.
I, from as long as I could remember, wanted to be a drug dealer. Like
Oh my god.
really, like really bad, dude. I don't know if it's just because of like movies and shit. Like I grew up like watching like Casino, Goodfellas, Blow, shit like that.
Right.
But like
Scarface and shit.
I really wanted to be a drug dealer, so like I fucking put a lot of effort into that. And so by the time I was like 16, I had already been on probation for like 4 years and been locked up and sent into inpatient rehab and fucking been in just shitty drug dealer situations, getting robbed,
Right.
getting fucking, treated like shit, having to stay home because a customer might roll through and that's more important than spending time with your homies. Yo, I can't even, if you have a drug dealer out there, They should not have to stay home for your ass. For real. You're a piece of shit. Anyway, fucking, fucking, anyway, it all ended with me, like, I had a gun pulled on me. I got a shit ton of coke stolen from me and my Bluetooth speaker, which doesn't matter. But yo, how petty is this, right? Like, this dude fucking pulls out this gun, jacks my shit. He's in my passenger seat of my van, right? Jacks my shit, opens the door, gun still at me, gets like all the way out of the door, like is about to run away, stops and thinks about it, and grabs my Bluetooth speaker out of my cup holder, and then runs away.
Oh my god, I'm gonna get that too. I done this.
So I fucking had to drive. I just had to drive home in silence.
That's why you done it, bro. Maybe that was smart. He was making you think about that moment the whole last time. Like, you can't even jam some tunes and be pissed off. Like, I live, but my shit's gone.
Bro,
That's
fucked
up.
I was fucking pissed. Yeah,
I ain't never had nobody come on here. You're my 111th artist. Nobody said they wanted to be a fucking a gangbanger, a drug dealer as a kid. So that's a first. And not just a regular. He wants to be like a kingpin. He's going to street school for it, starting young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been around the block a time or two. I know what's up, but I never like really became no dealer, and I didn't want to be.
Yeah, no, by the time I was 22, I was like, this ain't it for me. This is not it for me.
Let's pursue music.
But yo, still fucking 10 years later, people will hit me up and be like, hey, you know where I could get some of this, right? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I probably got you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it, but I could point you in the right direction for sure.
Right. Okay, you just mentioned about you're hoping to go to the Gathering this year earlier. So I ask, have you played the Gathering before and or been to the Gathering? And if so, how many times on both accounts?
I've been to I have never played the Gathering. Not technically. I did some shit in a parking lot once. But
right. Hell yeah. The parking lot parties are all right.
Yeah, the most notable gathering I went to was for sure the fucking Wizard of the Hood. Fucking dude, that I think it was Gathering 16. It was the last gathering that Twisted went to. Fucking and yeah, they did all a Wizard in the Hood, like in fucking costume with the fucking big ass set in the background, and then they capped it off. They capped it off by doing like $85 an hour, spin the bottle, like all the classic ICP Twisted tracks that aren't technically Dark Lotus, but you know they are. And and yeah, fucking God, it was the best.
Beautiful.
That morning I took like 3 tabs of acid, and I got like a bag of mushrooms, and I was wearing these cargo pants, and so one of my pockets in my cargo pants was just full of mushrooms, and fucking I was feeling good off the acid like all day, and I was pretty close to the front, and Guar was just about to come on. I forgot who was on before Guar. But Guar was just about to come on, and fucking I knew it, and so I fucking just started popping the fucking mushrooms out of my fucking cargo pants, and fucking the mushrooms hit hard like halfway through fucking Guar's set, and then I floated through that all the way through the Wizard of the Hood. Yo, honestly, best time and craziest mosh pit I've ever been in. Genuinely, the only time in my whole life I've ever been scared in a mosh pit is at the Gathering.
No shit.
Yeah, no, that shit was fucking like I lost both my shoes. Some let had to give me her flip flops so I could walk through the airport.
Yeah.
But like everybody was like one mass, and we would like fall all the way to the side and then fall all the way to the side. And if you fucking slipped through the cracks, dude, you were dead for sure. And I don't think anybody's ever died from that at the Gathering. That's like family will pick you up, I'm sure. But I was fucking terrified,
bro. It's definitely a different experience, like even from like one off, and don't get it twisted, like I go to a lot of Ouija, you know what I'm saying, shows, and he's always getting a fucking mosh pit going. That's like his muse, like he's telling everybody, get in the fucking pit. And I've seen some pretty hard pits at Ouija, like JO3 and stuff like that. But the Gathering something, it's just its own freaking animal, man. Everything about the Gathering is so much more intense. And then if you make it that much more better for yourself, boy, yeah, there's nothing better. Nothing better. Somebody in the comments, Tara Jackson said, Guar, I saw a 99. Most funnest concert I've ever been to. I've seen them other times, but that was the best concert of all times, even compared to Tool, just because it was such a wild time.
Yeah, Guar was an insane performance. Like they had like Hillary Clinton, like this like dude in like a big figurine costume, like dressed as Hillary Clinton, come out and fight Obama, and then then like this monster made out of like dicks and vaginas and tits, all
Yeah.
mutilated, came out and just murdered both of them and like ripped their heads off, and it was spraying like green and blue blood out of them, and they sprayed the crowd with all this like crazy colored blood and. Dude,
Yeah.
it was wonderful. It was definitely the best performance I've ever seen. Guar gets oh my fucking god!
That's what's up.
I was like,
Um,
and I didn't even know they were going to be there when I bought my ticket and everything. Just another little story to tack onto that real quick.
oh
That
yeah.
year, the year and a half following up to that, I had seen Twisted at least 6 times. I want to say 8, but it was at least 6 times. And fucking, I even met them a couple times within that. And so at the Gathering, I fucking, the only time I slept was during Twisted set. Well, they had Asking Alexandria open up for them, and I didn't really want to see Asking Alexandria either. So I slept through Twisted and Asking Alexandria. Dark Lotus was, and then I woke up to Dark Lotus at like 2 a.m. I woke up to the Lotus. I also didn't, dude. I got there immediately, dropped acid. I didn't look at any of the things going on. I just
You're just
fucking
like, man, I'm gonna make
and
my own
so
party.
I fucking just ran towards the fucking Lotus sound, and dude, it was like 2 a.m., dark as shit. Everybody from the Gathering was all at this fucking little side stage, and fucking yeah, it was a beautiful show. I felt super lucky that I got to see Dark Lotus before.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
absolutely. Because I didn't. Damn it. My first Gathering was last year, sadly, because life just it wasn't in my cards.
Yeah, I was
Um,
supposed to go last year, but something happened. I can't remember what. It was fucked.
okay, if you could collaborate with any artist that you have not collabed with yet, who would you like to collab with? And give us somebody that you feel is untouchable, and then somebody that is probably reachable, but you're gonna have to fork out some bands or whatever the case is, and then maybe somebody that is possible, you just haven't tried to make that connection yet, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I guess I'll give an obscure answer first because the honest answer is Kenny Beats. If I could collab with any artist, it would be Kenny Beats. He's not a rapper, he's just a producer, engineer, beat maker, fucking wizard. But yeah, he did a full album with Denzel Curry called Unlocked. I honestly think that it was the best album made of, I want to say it was 2022 when it came out. And I still think it's in my top 10 best rap albums of all fucking time. Also, like, he did the beat for, I can't remember which song it is, but he does beats for like the baby and a lot of like mainstream artists too, but he keeps his roots in the underground. He has a podcast too where he makes beats and fucking talks to people who come into his studio and shit. And so yeah, if I could work with anybody, any artist, it would be Kenny Beats for sure. But when it comes to rappers, let me just put my dick on the table real quick. I've collabed with Jamie Madrox, King Gordy, Kung Fu Vampire, Boondocks, Gibby Stites, Even Heathens, which King Gordy is a part of that too. Um,
Right.
and a bunch of fucking underground legends. So I do believe that I'm in a place where most people in the underground are attainable for me, to me, at least at a price. I'm not normally into paying prices, but when it comes to mainstream artists that are way out of reach, like I'd really like to have a song with fucking. I'd really like to have a song with like Chance the Rapper. Would be super dope. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
I'm a huge Chance the Rapper fan. Not his last album. I didn't think his last album was really good, but 10 Days is one of my favorites, and then Acid Rap's obviously super fucking wonderful. Um,
Yeah.
I would love to. I would love to rap with Eminem, not just because I'm a fan, and I am a fan, but not just because I'm a fan, but because yo, the triple entendres that I write in my music are so fucking thick, and it's honestly not uncommon for me to write quadruple entendres. I do it like it's fucking making a PB and J, and
He's a
if there's anybody in this world that I would love to break those entendres down to, it would be him for sure. Because
yeah.
if there's anybody who respects that type of thought and layering that goes into a structure without ruining a story or a flow, it's gonna be him. And so
Okay.
I know it's not exactly in line with the culture, but yo, I would fucking love a
Look, I
shot
mean,
to impress Eminem.
Violent J said it himself. Like they done squashed that shit a long time ago. Somebody asked, and I think it was the homie Matthew Trope that asked Jay in a like a Shaggy Show podcast thing, like, "Would you do a song with Eminem now?" And they literally said, "Hell yeah, it's him stopping that from happening, not them." Like
Yeah,
that collab would boost their fucking shit like tenfold. Even like the hate or the like what wow factor of it alone. Eminem and ICP, what
yeah, like
but
2007 they went on the George Lopez show and like publicly squashed that beef.
right.
I remember watching that shit as a kid and being like, "Fuck that."
Right. um Okay, have you ever? Well, and so I say this, and it's weird when I'm talking to you, artists, and you've clearly met some famous artists, and I'm not discrediting artists. So if you've only met artists, that is dope. But the question goes as follows: have you ever met anyone famous to you? And like I met the clowns, I met Ouija a handful of times. I've ran into Scum and artists at the gathering or whatnot. But I try to use as my answer that I have also met Polly Shore. So have you met anybody famous to you?
Yeah, the list is long, but my for the first dude. So I was in fourth grade, and my sister won tickets to a concert on the radio, and the concert was called Z100's Last Chance Summer Dance, and it was like this like music festival where they got a bunch of like mainstream radio artists. One of those radio artists at the time was fucking Avril Lavigne. Uh, and so fucking I was wandering around the fucking festival area, and she was kicking it over by, I don't know what they were doing there, dude. I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? But she was kicking it by some like tent, and I fucking walked up and talked to her, and fucking like I was really like thrown back at like we were the same height. Like she's so short, she is so crazy short, and fucking I walked up all crazy nervous. I was like, "Yo, I saw your set. Like you're wonderful. I absolutely love your music. I have your whole first two albums memorized. Huge Avril Lavigne fan, by the way." And fucking she was like, "Oh, that's sweet," and fucking uh she she was drinking a Pepsi out of like a can, and she put it on the table, and she said bye to me or whatever and walked off, and the guy standing behind the table was like, he looked at me and he was like, "Hey, watch this." And he handed me the can, and he like shouted at the crowd and pointed at me, and he was like, "This kid's got a Pepsi can that was just drank out of by Avril Lavigne. Who wants to buy it from him?" And fucking like a crowd of fucking people rushed me, and I sold that Pepsi can for like $70,
Damn.
which is like fat for a fourth grader, dude. $70.
Yeah.
Dude, I went and bought so many GameCube games.
Yes.
So like that moment was pretty dope. Pretty fucking dope.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah,
Avril Lavigne.
well, like I have two moms. Fucking, I was raised by my grandma, and I have four sisters, and so I was just like raised around a lot of really girly shit, and it's hard for me not to like it. I don't know how to
No, she's
explain
got pipes, bro. She's pretty and she's got pipes and she's
it.
got a pretty voice. I'm
Yeah,
I'm not mad at Avril Lavigne.
yeah, no, and like, yeah, I remember when her third album dropped, and I was like, this is ass, and I haven't liked anything that she's made since then. But yeah, those first two albums are fucking solid. And the fact that she made the first one when she was 16 and wrote all the music, it's fucking nuts.
You said you had a list. Maybe give us one more and we'll move on to the next question. Or is that just like the top
No,
famous
no.
person?
One of my favorite ones was I was walking through Portland, and I saw Blaze You Dead Homie, and I was like, fucking, oh shit, hey, I like wasn't even thinking, I didn't expect to see Blaze You Dead Homie, and I saw Blaze You
Right.
Dead Homie, and the words that came out of my mouth were immediately, oh shit, homie, can I get a picture? And like, I grew up listening to Hound Dogs. I knew better. But he was like, and before he even answered, this dude that he was with, who I'm assuming was his manager, like stepped in front and was like, hey, Blaze can't be doing pictures, he's doing a show tonight, and fucking like people paid to get pictures with him, so he can't really be, and like the dude explained it all super professionally. And
Right.
I was wearing Madrox around this time had just designed good guy and villain shirts that were like Twisted themed, and I was wearing the villain one, and fucking so I was like, all right, my bad. And he was like, and he apologized. He was like, it's my bad too. It's all whatever it is. And fucking, we had a little good thing, and I didn't even notice. Fucking, I go to cry. I like walk away, and I hear, "Hey, nice shirt." And it's fucking Madrox was sitting there, standing like 5 feet behind them the whole time. I didn't even notice no face paint, and like again, not expecting to see these motherfuckers.
Right.
And I was like, hell yeah. And when I noticed this, I was like, hell yeah, dog, you did an awesome job fucking designing this shit. And he was like, hell yeah, thank you. And fucking, dude, that was dope. Yeah, super unexpected. Like,
That's solid.
I was in town to see a Twisted show. But like, yeah, fucking, I didn't expect to run into them for sure. It was wild.
Absolutely. Especially out in the wild. Like, it's one thing to go to a show, you know, you're going to see them, and then if you pay for VIP, but when you actually see them out in public, how they react with us, that shit, like, lasts forever. And even though he stood on business, hey, I'm not going to do a picture, at least they were still respectful and, dap you up a little bit or whatever, so.
Yeah, and honestly, that if I would have had even 3 seconds to think about what I was gonna say, that
You
would
would
have
have knew better.
I wouldn't have even
Yeah.
asked.
It
I
would have
would have
just
just
been whoop whoop or some
yeah.
shit.
I was been
Yeah.
like, you the shit, dog. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being you, man. Fucking
Right. Right.
good luck
Nah,
in
I
that. I
get
would have
it.
just been fucking chill. But yeah, no, I don't know. I was probably like 19 at the time, 18, 19 years old. I fucking I turned my fucking head in blazes right there. Dude, I was like, what the fuck?
Right. Okay. What's your favorite color, homie?
Green. Well, if I'm being specific, it's chartreuse. But that's technically still green. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, mine's a red. And then, what's your favorite domesticated animal and wild type animal?
Huh. You know, a lot of people, it blows my mind that there are dog people and cat people, because like I don't think I could ever choose between the two. Like, yo, I love the fuck out of my cat. And but the only reason I don't have a dog is because I live in an apartment with no yard, and I don't believe that you should have a dog if you don't have a yard, unless you're like a hella active motherfucker that goes on runs all
Right,
the
you're going
time.
on walks and
That's
runs and yeah.
that's not me though. So I don't have a dog at the moment, but like when I'm around other people's dogs, dude, it's like heaven on earth, man. I love that shit. And
Yeah.
so like it'd be hard for me to pick between the two, but I mean, it's got to be one of those two. I can't think of any other pets that I've ever really fucked with. Like,
You ain't keep no reptiles or nothing, no
I was gonna
lizards.
say I've had exes who like had like pet lizards and like snakes and shit like that, and like yeah, they're hella cool. I fucking sit there and fucking smoke a joint and stare at a lizard for 20 minutes, dude. That sounds fun.
Right.
But like I don't really feel like a connection with it. And then like I have friends, I've had friends who've had like pet ferrets that are actually
Yeah,
like trained and behave really well. And even then, I'm not like, oh, this. I mean, it's cool, it's fun, but
but it's not for you.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like any sort of connection where, like, when I interact with like a cat or a dog, I feel like I'm interacting with a person.
Right, right.
So,
Stefan, he said a pet alligator. Listen, I would keep a pet alligator. I ain't got no claws.
bro, bro, I got the best story. So when I was like, oh shit, this had to have been like third, fourth grade. My dad was living in this apartment complex, and his neighbor was this dude, just like he looked like your classic '90s punk, like tall, skinny white dude, always wore a black beanie, covered in fucking trashy black tattoos, no color, and
Right,
fucking my dad had became like friends with him. They would stand out front and fucking talk like all the time. And one day when we were, and he had a pet crocodile, like this little baby crocodile had to have been like this long, right? One day we're walking past his house or his apartment, and the front window was the blinds were open, like they were closed, but you could see through them. And
right.
he was on his couch with a crocodile on his chest, like holding the crocodile to his nipple, and the crocodile was like biting his nipple, and fucking and I was like, and my dad didn't notice, and I was like, what the fuck? And fucking my dad stopped and turned and fucking, so I got a good like 5-10 seconds of like watching this dude like fucking like pull on his nipple and play with on his nipple with a crocodile. And fucking and then my dad was like, what the fuck? And he never talked. I never saw them talk again. I don't know if he addressed it or what the fuck was happening, but
Right, like,
my fucking
what are
dad
you
stopped talking to that
doing
fool.
with a gator, bruh? That's
Yeah.
weird. That's weird shit. Like, it's weird to keep an alligator as a pet, I think, personally. I mean, I got a gar out in my pond, but it's 2,000 gallons, and he has plenty of space, and yada yada. A human trying to take a wild animal and say, oh, this is going to be a pet. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know,
don't know.
man.
I think he bought the little crocodile at Petco. I think back in the day you could buy little crocodiles like that. I don't really know. For some reason, it seems true when I say it, but I don't actually
No,
know.
I absolutely believe you. I know people even in Indiana, it's legal to own a caiman. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me because they don't get as big as alligators or something. It's just it's not my forte. I do have a snake. I've had birds. I got fish. My
Oh
go-to
shit.
animal
Okay.
is a dog too.
My fucking grandpa, or my grandparents. My grandpa got my grandma a pet cockatiel when I was like 3 years old. That they still have that bird. He's part of the family for sure. And like, he recognizes people. We talk with it. It fucking like that's a real fucking.
They're
There's a real
cool.
fucking yeah. There's a real fucking person in that bird. And
Yeah,
so fucking yeah. That's a solid pet too. But also it they need a lot of attention. Like my grandpa retired at a super young age because he was a logger and he got into a logging accident, got brain damage, had to relearn his whole life. And
damn.
so he really stopped working at like I want to say like the age of like 35. And so he didn't really and he hasn't really worked a day since, like not like a 9 to 5 type work. And
Right.
so like he was at home with the bird all the time. They developed like they have like
A
genuinely,
solid ass.
I believe if my grandpa randomly died today, so would the bird. You know
No,
what I
they
mean?
say a bird will imprint type beat on you. And if you get it as a baby, as like a legit egg, there's that bonding period that can really make the difference between your bird really fucking with you or it just tolerating you because you're feeding it.
Feeding it, yeah. And so, yeah, that's really cool. But I also understand that that type of pet takes a huge commitment and a lot of time. It's not some kind of pet you could have if you work a full time job. Um,
Absolutely.
so
Um, What about then wild type? What's your favorite wild type animal? I'll tell you mine first. Mine is a white tiger because they're not supposed to exist. They're beautiful. They'll lure you in and they'll kill you.
They're also not real.
Right, right.
um, man, that is a tough one. Probably.
A golden lion tamarin. Ruby, whoop whoop. I love you. Thanks for coming in.
I don't know. Every time
Cheese said white tigers are real. They are, but they're not supposed to,
I don't
technically.
think
Like, it's a
I don't think they're
pigment
real.
thing. You don't
Oh,
think they're
the
real?
albino tiger. Yes. Okay. Sorry. So it's not an actual like race of tiger, but some tigers are
Right,
albino and they're white. Got you.
right.
Got you. Yes, that's for sure real. The only reason I say that is because I just learned that like 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh, I love white tigers, and someone was like, those aren't real, and I was like, son of a bitch, and then I looked it up, and yeah, it's true, they're not real, but there are albino tigers. Um,
Wait, but so you're trying to now you're gonna make me Google that though, because I thought that was technically real.
I recommend asking ChatGPT because Google is a piece of shit. But yeah, no, I also thought that, and no, I thought they were Siberian tigers, is what they were called. But no, there is a thing where so they are bred in captivity. White tigers are because they're breeding albino tigers. But they're just regular tigers with albino, whatever tiger
Okay,
albino is
see,
called.
right,
Um,
right.
so it is common to go to a zoo and see white tigers, but it's super uncommon to see it in the wild, and it always has been. Yeah.
Okay, fair. Um,
Fucking
hmm.
for me though, I don't really know. Did you know woodpeckers' tongues go all the way back under and wrap around their skull, so when they pick on wood,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all soft on their brain?
I
Yo,
absolutely have seen that like video description of it or whatever. Because
yeah.
I got into birding, my friend, when
Oh,
COVID happened.
and so fucking like every time I find myself learning about an animal, I feel that same enthusiasm that we were both just like, what? You know what I'm saying? And so it's hard for me to pick a favorite because like genuinely, like most animals are really fucking dope. Uh
I just find aesthetically, or I don't know, because it's a beast. Like I don't know, that's another thing. Like there's not much that's gonna fuck up a tiger.
I guess if I was
Maybe a
gonna
lion or
I guess if I was gonna go aesthetically, I would say like a turtle, like a sea turtle, or maybe an owl.
ooh, okay,
You know,
yeah,
like
that's all right.
creatures that are often displayed as wise, not necessarily. I mean, Crush is a stoner, but turtles usually like I think like the giant turtles from Avatar. I like anime and shit. Uh, anyways, yeah, fucking yeah. I don't really care about how like obviously like bears are fucking pretty fucking beasts, dude.
Yeah, yeah. But see,
But
I would pick like the panda or a koala then.
oh, koalas are pieces
You
of
know
shit though.
that. Oh,
Koalas.
why?
They all have chlamydia. They're not actually birds. They're just are birds. They're not actually bears. They're fucking like just little angry fucking tree rats. They're pretty much angry tree rats that kind of look like bears. They're like uh, yeah.
Silverback gorilla. I
They're
want one of
like
them.
mutated squirrels pretty much.
Hmm. I did
Yeah.
not know that. Which a
Uh
panda can mess you up too, but they're
well
they're
pan-
cute. I don't know.
see pandas are bears. Yeah, no. Are they?
Right, right. Yeah, they're
I don't
definitely a
honestly
bear.
know. When I say it
Well,
out
no, yeah, yeah. You're like, are they?
when I say it out loud, it doesn't sound. It my brain feels like it's not true. Um,
Like polar bears are only
Yeah,
cute when they're clean. Otherwise, the white fur gets kind of dirty.
polar
But
bears
they're
dirty as a
badass. They're
motherfucker.
gangster. They ain't messing around.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah, no, rabbits. Okay, yeah. Aesthetically, yeah, I'm really into fuck. I'd like to draw rabbits and shit. I'm super into like drawing the ears. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I fucks with rabbits pretty hard too. I guess that's kind of domestic, but still.
She's got them facts. She said 1 in every 10,000 are born white naturally.
There you go.
We're okay, a
Yeah, that
rabbit.
shit
I'll
broke my
take it.
that shit broke my heart, and I'm sorry that I had to share the news.
Yeah, how dare you? This whole 111 streams, my favorite wild animal is not real, y'all. I have to say it publicly on this one, apparently. It's a genetic mutation. But I've always said that too. They're not supposed to exist.
Tigers are the
Yeah.
shit though. Big cats in general, dude. Panthers, fucking
Right, leopards and yeah.
yeah, yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's
Oh,
that shit.
wolves. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can't
See,
really
that's what
beat
I'm
a wolf.
saying, bro.
Those are
I could
pretty
sit
dope.
here and just name cool animals all day. I'd be like buffaloes, toucans. You know what I'm saying?
The
Like
water buffalo, baby.
water or
Yeah.
buffaloes are fucking sweet, dude. Did you know they never fucking lived in the same place like ever? Like when they wildly roamed, they always moved.
They always migrate, huh?
Yeah, they don't ever have like a home.
Huh.
That's pretty
No, I
crazy.
didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
that's
That's why
where
the
the
animal kingdom is way better than us. Us as human animals suck.
yeah, well, yeah, we're pretty much mammals with bug brains.
Right.
We're ants in meat skins.
Right. And yeah, honestly, we're just a spinal cord and a freaking a brain stem.
Yeah, if you even believe in reality.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know. Um, Listen, folks, do you have any questions? Throw them in the chat. We're going to move to the next question, but I hate to do it to you. I'm going to have to take a minute, 2 minute break and go drain the old water hose, and I'll be
Oh,
right back, my guy, and then we'll try to get you wrapped up here. We've been live for 1 hour and 6 minutes, and I thank you for your time. I know it's a holiday night. I know it's pretty much over, but still, you took
yeah,
the
I'm not
time
worried
out of
about it.
your day,
Yeah,
so
I'm
I
good.
appreciate it.
I can entertain the people.
All right, everybody in the chat, say hi. I don't know if you can read it, see it down there. There's 5 people in here.
Let's see. I am now going to do a spoken word version of my song, one of my songs. I don't know which one. Give me a second. Here we go. I'm inside your cunt while you struggle for air. You you claw and you pull at my hair. So scared your eyes bulge and I feel you cry. You seize up, shit yourself and die. 'Cause every time we fuck, I get this feeling that makes me wanna strangle you while you cry. I could feel your heartbeat slow while I'm in your hole, and then you shit yourself and die. 'Cause every scratch and slap is so erotic.
Sorry, y'all probably got some dog action. My dogs are all over the place. We got two pit bulls, well, a Stanford pit terrier, a pit red heeler mix, and a wolf husky mix.
Hell yeah.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
Don't look like I missed much in the chat. Okay. What type of music did your parents listen to, and do you think it had any effect on the type of music that you listen to and or make?
Um, that is an excellent question. So my grandpa had a growing up. He had 100 disc CD changer. I think by the time I was in like high school, technology advanced far enough that he actually had like a 300 disc CD changer. But he had thousands of CDs, and so what he would do is he would like fill up the 100 disc rotator, press play, let the day go, let it just go on. Like there was always music in the house.
Right.
And fucking then when he got back to the same, when he heard the same shit play again, he would just fucking kick that, just like amp it up. Um, but like my mom had her favorites that she picked out of it that she played like a lot, and she listened to a lot of like a lot of Eminem, a lot of System of a Down, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot, and then also stuff like Pink, The Cranberries, fucking Alanis Morissette, fucking Sheryl Crow, uh, and then yeah, so like it was mostly like rock music, Red Hot Chili Peppers, shit like that. It was mostly like rock music. And then like the only rap that she listened to was Eminem that I can think of off the top of my head. And then my dad listened to fucking the weirdest shit, dude. Like fucking he I and I'm not from this era, so I don't really know. But he listened to Milli Vanilli. He had a tape
Milli
player in his
Vanilli.
bro. He had a tape player in his fucking truck until I was like in like fifth grade. This fool would listen to tapes, dude, and fucking yeah, he had like a Milli Vanilli tape that he was super into, but like also he listened to a lot of DMX, and so like this
That's
fool
a
was
mix, bro.
yeah, and then but like yeah, but he also like was like super into Kid Rock, and he really loved Nirvana. Nirvana was probably his favorite. And so like yeah, he listened to just like the most like wild assortment of stuff. And like even in my head right now I can see my dad driving this down the street being like, X gonna give it to you. Like
Yeah.
bro, he was for real really liked DMX and fucking
That's
um
so beautiful.
I I I don't think any of that music has a direct effect on the music, or could be directly correlated to the music that I make. But
Right.
yeah, the music that I listen to, if you put my Apple Music on shuffle, you're definitely gonna find some System of a Down. You will find Alanis Morissette, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Sublime, like all the shit my parents listen to. You won't find any Milli Vanilli, but you will find some DMX. You know, fucking uh yeah, and so yeah, it's hard not, I mean, not that I don't want to, but I couldn't imagine like not listening to those songs or not having an opportunity. Like if I would never choose those songs as the first song, but if my music's on shuffle and it comes on and that
Right.
nostalgia hits right, yo, that hit of nostalgia is fucking sweet. And so I like to have
I
that shit right
asked
throughout.
I asked the question, man, because sadly my mom was a Bible thumper for a good chunk of my life, and the only time I got to listen to hip hop around her was when she was driving home at night and trying to stay awake, and she'd be like, "All right, Sean, you can play your music." Otherwise, that shit wasn't happening. Now, classic rock, AC/DC, Leonard Skinner, REO Speedwagon, that shit was bumping all the time.
Yeah.
Meatloaf,
Yeah.
whatever, but the hip hop, rap, horrorcore, none of that was that was away from my mom or whatever. And my father was a worthless piece of shit and racist, so you can only imagine where his music limitations were or whatever.
Yeah,
So
my grandma's sort of the same way. Fucking and which is wild because my grandpa like loves like shock humor and just like dirty music.
right.
He comes from an era where dudes sat around and said dirty limericks all the time. I wish I could remember one off the top of my head, but God, I love that shit. Anyway, fucking but she was always the opposite, and I remember like around like 2011 when I started listening to Chance the Rapper. I was like, I bet I could play this in the car with my grandma and she wouldn't complain. And I fucking put it on, and not only did she not complain, she was like humming along. And then she's like, yeah, she was like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Oh, this is Chance the Rapper. I fucking love him right now. His lyrics are sick, and his flow switches are crazy." And she's like, "This is really good." And so fucking, and from that point on, anytime I was in the car with my grandma, I just play some Chance the Rapper.
That's awesome. That is so great, bro. I did the same thing. Like my mom's came around. My cousin Lindsay came to live with us when I was 12, and that's how I discovered ICP back in 2000. And he was showed up spider braided in a Great Malenko jersey. Like my mom's like, "What the hell?" And we're like, "What is this?" But then me, like the kids, fell in head first, and it was a wrap from there. But my mom never really liked it. Now here I am, about to be 33. She kind of accepts it, but it still is not her cup of tea by no means. She ain't
Oh,
bumping no hip hop. So,
yeah, no, my fucking discovery on it was wild because I guess it was kind of like always laced throughout my life and I didn't notice it. So like my friends would have older siblings that listened to ICP, but like it just went over my head. I never paid attention to those people and like I didn't notice it. And then I want to say it was like third grade. My grandpa was super into going to auctions and like buying like storage auctions, and
yeah.
if he saw like anything that was like remnants of like CDs and stuff like that, he would buy it. And he bought this one storage unit that was, dude, genuinely had to have had like 3,000 CDs in it. And
Damn.
one of those CDs was ICP's Great Malenko. And so he's doing his thing. Like at this point, he always had his own little smoke room, like a den, and he just had his CD player set up in there at the time. It wasn't throughout the house, and he called me into his room. He was like, "Bro, you have to fucking listen to this." And he played the Nedden game, and he was like, "This is my first." It was his first time hearing it, and I was like, "What is this?" And he was like, "I'm pretty sure they're called the Great Malenko." And so that's when we, and because that's what it said on the CD. It didn't have the booklet. It just had the
Yeah,
CD.
yeah.
And fucking and like I have no idea how I knew this, but I just knew it in my soul. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is ICP. And he was like, it could be, dude. I don't know. I just heard this and immediately thought it was funny, and I called you in here. and fucking
That is
and
awesome.
I was like, fuck yeah, dude. And like I I it was his CD, and he didn't really let me fuck with his CDs, so I only listened to like a couple songs on that album during that like period of my life. And then when I was in like fourth grade, my older sister started hanging out with this dude who was like super into ICP, and he left Hell's Pit over at our house. And fucking yo, I put on or my yeah, I put on Hell's Pit and like immediately fell in love. And like yo, to this day I would die for that album. It's fucking perfect. Yeah, I used to, and I remember in like fourth, fifth grade, on all my binders it said I like to suffocate people and bite their necks. Yo, sedatives on Hell's Pit. I don't know why it stood out to me so much when I was in fourth grade, but that fucking song. He's like, yeah, it's a plastic straw and it's flimsy and
Would
weak, but
y'all
it's
quit?
you
Sorry, my
fucking
dog.
cork. Oh, it's all good. And then he talks about like corking the straw and stabbing someone in the neck with it or whatever. I don't remember the exact words, but I was like, yo, this shit is creative and funny and fucking perfect. And then, yeah,
Absolutely.
then I worked my way
That's
back to fucking Great Malenko all the way to Carnival of Carnage and forward again.
absolutely. It's kind of an addiction.
And then
Um,
YouTube came out and whew, it was over, dude. It was
you
over. I
can
listened to all that shit all the time.
absolutely. It's crazy that I remember a time before YouTube, and
Yeah.
then now I don't. It's been 10 years at least that it's just been a solid thing that's there.
It's probably
Maybe I don't
been
know,
It's probably
longer
been
than that.
closer to yeah, probably closer to 20 years. I want to say
Yeah.
YouTube for me anyway. Like I lived in
How old are you? You're a little
I'm
older
30
than me.
I'm 31.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah.
My mom lived in homeless shelters and like battered woman shelters and stuff a lot when we were kids. And so I never really had technology. We didn't actually have a place to call home until I was in like 6th grade. And that's when she got a computer, and that's when I discovered YouTube. But I think at that point it had kind of been off and popping for a couple years. So I would say like yeah, like 2004 was probably the start of YouTube, and
Yeah.
then like by 2006 everybody was watching shit on it.
Right. Right. You mentioned you have a sister.
4 of them.
Oh, okay. Well, I was about to say, do you have any siblings and do they support your music or whatever?
My younger one of my younger sisters, she does. That's a weird sentence. One of my younger sisters do.
Does
Eh,
do? Yeah.
Anyway, fucking she's in college right now for animation, graphic design, and music. And so I'm certain that like once she's like a full grown adult doing her thing, that we'll collaborate a lot. She's always been a huge supporter of my music. Like I used to make like little demos like before I ever even like met that dude who made beats for me or whatever. Like I used to just make demos at home. And so she always liked to listen to those growing up, and yeah, she's always been super into it. But my older sister is really in her own world. She doesn't really pay attention to anybody. She's fully disconnected from everybody in the family except for me. We do talk, but like she's like she's super judgmental, and so I don't really share my aspirations with her because she's more of that kind of
Right.
person that's like, oh, that's never gonna happen. And that's fucking draining, which is wild because she's actually a therapist. And yo, I'm telling you, she terrorized me like most of my childhood. She fucking disconnected from our family, like completely wrote everybody off except for fucking me. Moved out to the country, completely isolated, doesn't socialize with anybody, and she's a fucking therapist. So
She
fuck
said,
this
"I'm gonna
bitch.
get paid to do this shit."
I'm not. Yeah, probably. But like I'm not I'm all about therapy, but like genuinely watch who your therapist is because my sister is the worst person I know and she is in charge of somebody else's mental health and that is terrifying.
Oh shit! You heard it first here.
Yeah.
Dropping bombs! Dropping bombs! Nah, he loves his sister. She's just crazy. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. You
No, no,
know.
I hold huge resentments against her for like the way that I see it is she abandoned our grandma, which is wild to me because our mom is a huge crazy bitch, and the only good parts of our childhood was when our grandma swooped in to like save us, which she did a fucking lot, and she put a lot of effort into like trying to make our lives good in like the shit drug world that we grew up in. And yeah, I think it's really fucked up that she doesn't talk to her or pay her any attention or anything like that when she literally put in all that effort to save us. So I hold a huge grudge
Right.
against my older sister for that. But we still talk. For me, it would be for me it's still family. Like I really care about family, so it wouldn't make any sense for me to cut her off and then be pissed off that she cut people off, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So
Absolutely, dude. I feel that. Thanks thanks for grandma. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad she was there for y'all. It at least gave you that little bit of mental relief and peace. Sounds like a great lady, man. And like my mom wasn't the best mother either, but she is a damn good grandmother. She's a better grandmother than she was a mother. So,
well, yeah, well that's the thing too, is like it's easy to blame my grandparents for the way that I was raised because they made my mom the absolute piece of shit that she is. And so like I totally understand like how my sister can justify all of that because at the end of the day my mom did go through a lot of weird disturbing abuse that nobody should go through, and it was from those
right.
people who probably showed us that attention and care because they felt bad that they didn't show it to their own children. But it's
Exactly.
not my job to decipher that. That's probably why she became a therapist. At the end of the day, someone was there for me with love, and now I'm there for them with love. That's how that goes.
Absolutely. That's the way to be, man. You shouldn't just. There's no sense in conspicuously hating and stuff, especially that you can't control. That's in the past. It sucks. It hurts. Don't forget about it. You know, keep it as a learning curve or whatever. But also, don't let it just sit there on the forefront and just drain you all the time either. You gotta keep going, or you're just gonna be miserable. So,
Um,
yeah.
but my other two little sisters, they're from their mom, my dad's ex, was like genuinely like my evil stepmom growing up. I have absolutely no respect for her, and I literally had to go to therapy to stop having night terrors of her.
Damn it, man.
And so because of like that, I don't really associate with that. I reach out to them a couple times a year, just like, hey, how you doing? If you ever want to hang out, this is the hood that I'm in right now. Like, hit me up anytime. But yeah, I don't think I've seen them in 9 years. They were at my first show, so 9 years.
How old are they? I
Well, the
mean, get
youngest,
rough guesstimate.
yeah, the youngest would be 21, and the oldest would be
Oh shit.
20.
Well, they're grown, so I
Yeah,
mean, they're old enough to make their own decisions or
right.
whatever based on whatever. Yeah.
Right, but the main like even before the last time I seen them, I probably hadn't seen them like a couple years before that. So like the main disconnect happened when the youngest was like 7 and the older one was like 13.
Well, I tell you, I asked that question because I don't feel like so this is my opinion. It's not fact or nothing, but I don't feel that the ones that know us the most, that are around us the most, friends, family, homies, are obligated to support us, and that's even me being a digital creator. But when those people that really know us genuinely support us because they are enjoying whatever it may be, it feels like tenfold compared to just I don't know, a normal support. Or it's kind of like 10 juggalos versus 10,000 mainstream fans. That whole expression that Jay used, like there's a difference in it. So again, I don't think your siblings have to support you. They don't have to bump all your stuff, but it's kind of cool when they do. And I've had artists come up here and say their family or friends, siblings only support them where it like may count. So if they get acknowledgement or a shout out from the clowns or Ouija or something like that, they're like, "Whoa, bro, I seen it," but they ain't bumping their shit. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. And that's cool. I don't think your friends and family should be like putting you down and saying you're completely whack. They should kind of be a little supportive, but
Uh,
constructive criticism is what pushes us.
yeah,
So
when I first met Shaggy, I was pushing demos really hard, and I asked him if I could give him my demo, and he's like, honestly, man, like you need to give this demo to so many people that it ends up in my hands, not from you directly. Like it is totally possible. I 100% believe that I will listen to this album one day, but you got to put in the footwork to get it into my hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. It doesn't really work like that. And I was like,
right.
all right then, bet. Get
Yeah,
that in
yeah,
those
that's a
fucking hands.
challenge. Hell yeah. Um. Oh, okay. So then, um, I'm empathetic for you. I know you probably don't want pity, man, or sympathy. But you obviously had a rough life, and most juggalos, ironically, we all have a little bit of that, and some of us have a whole lot more of it in our lives. But it kind of goes with the territory of being a misfit, an outcast, growing up that roughneck life, poor, poverty, whatever. Not that all jugs are poor. Anybody watching this? No, there's some rich homies out there. It just ain't me. So I asked this question: if you met the younger version of yourself, say 12, 13 years old, what would you say to yourself, if anything at all, and why? Rather it's a little motivational something or nothing at all. I know a lot of people say, well, obviously if I said something that would change where I am today or whatever, and I can kind of respect that. So
I
however you want to answer that.
I would say fuck people. You have to find what makes you happy in life and build your life around that, and the people who are meant to be in your life will fall into place. And then I would cap that off with letting them know that I'm not saying that love should be effortless. I'm just saying you shouldn't have to go too far out of your way to find it.
Okay. Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's well said. That ain't too altering of how your life would go. And if anything, you'd just be a little positive vibes. Maybe you would have, let some heartbreak go or whatever.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm like fuck, man. My anxiety lives in hindsight. I often sit around and think about, oh, I should have did this, I should have did that, I should have went this way, I should have went that way. And so like yeah, I do often play with like the daydream of like if I could go back and change things, but they're like cornerstone events that like fucking really matter to me, like my kids for example. So then it's like, okay, well, I can't go back any further than when my last kid was made, because if I affect anything before that, then I'm not going to have these fucking kids that I love. And then but
right,
like but there's a 9 month period there, or I guess like there's a few, yeah, there's a solid period there where you could have made that decision, like if you could make the decision hypothetically, you didn't know that there was this treasure there that you were about to get. You know what I'm saying? So like
right,
if like the week before I found out that my daughter was going to exist, if I could go back and someone asked me, can you go back and change something? I would have been like, fuck yeah, I go back, change something. Now I don't have my daughter, even though that treasure was right there hidden in the reality that I already existed in. And so
right.
I often think about like how there's probably a bunch of treasures hidden in my reality right now that I just don't have the ability to acknowledge. I am obsessed with time travel also and science. And so,
Mm.
yeah, I don't think I would try to change things. I just think that helpful advice of like really
Guidance or
find the craft that you love and build your life around it. Like that's really all anybody has to do in life.
yeah, I wish I would have been doing this 10 years ago. Maybe I'd be a way bigger channel by now. Juggalos or no juggalos. I'll interview anybody, Ed. You don't got to be a juggalo. Any artist. If I could get a mainstream rapper, which I doubt I ever will, but who knows? Knock on wood, manifest that shit. You know what I'm saying? It would have been cool. I'd probably be better off or whatever, but
I got
I
I
don't.
got Cody Manson on 17 Bulls when he was beefing with Ouija Max so that he could break down the beef. That's probably the biggest artist I got on 17 Bulls though.
Oh, wah, wah.
Honestly, honestly, dude, I reckon if that's how you like genuinely I agree with you, and if that's how you feel, you should watch the episode because like
I'll watch it for you to support you. I fucking can't, man.
well
I
like
don't know, bruh.
bro, the whole time I'm like just sitting there playing like the tiniest violin for him, dude. Like, yeah,
Listen, I got offered free tickets to go to a Cody Manson show with a homie, and I'm like, yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to just
here's
roll on.
here's what I
Really
think.
though, go ahead.
I think that, and this is genuinely I from a non-biased, because I didn't even know who he was before the Ouija Mac thing, right? And
Right.
no offense, I'm not hating on anybody who does, but I don't personally fuck with Ouija Mac, right? And so
Okay.
I'm coming from, and I don't hate on Ouija Mac.
No, no, yeah, yeah.
I'm genuinely coming from a neutral standpoint when it comes to
Well,
the
then it
Cody
was
Man.
good for your show.
When it comes to the Cody Manson thing, I think that skill wise, he's not good enough to step to Ouija Mac, right? So like
Right.
he did, there's and like I hate this word, but like clout wise, like he doesn't have the numbers to step to Ouija Mac either. So like even if
Right.
there was disrespect there, like you're not really thinking about the hierarchy of the situation, and any backlash that happens to you because of that is in terms your own fault. And so I do believe, and long story short, I do believe that the beef was his fault. But I don't. I think the rumors of him scamming people, I don't think that's true.
I was just about to say it's not even just the beef and the bullshit and him, taking not taking an L and just holding it. Like that whole him ripping people off and on
I don't think that's
cells
true.
and I
I do think
right.
that I do actually know for a fact because dude, he came correct on the fucking podcast with like screenshots and shit. But he did take a while to ship out merch, and people got mad about it, and he offered them a refund, and they were like, no, I want my merch. But I guess he had sold out of merch because he made the mistake of selling more than he actually had, which is, again, his fault. But he offered a
Right.
refund, and yeah, he has a bunch of screenshots of people refusing refunds, and it's like, that's not, you're not getting scammed if you're getting offered your money back. Like,
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry that you're upset that you're not getting the merch that you wanted. But like, if the company is offering to give you your money back, they're not scamming you. And so, from what I've seen, every instance of people who have claimed that he's tried to steal from them, he's offered them money. And so, like, what the fuck else is he supposed to do?
Yeah, no, I guess that'd be true.
And
Um,
so, yeah, from a non-biased point, it's, yeah, I definitely recommend watching the podcast. He comes correct with some things, but at the end of the day, dude, he's a rich kid promoter who's trying to be a juggalo rapper, and I don't really fuck with that vibe.
it seems fake or forced or put on. He's like the perfect example of a vulture to our culture.
Bro, nothing drives me fucking crazier because I work with promoters a lot, right? I've been in this game 9 years, son, and nothing drives me crazier than, like, I'll meet a promoter who does basic hip hop shows, and then I'll see that the booking agent for one of my favorite artists is trying to book shows. I'll go to that promoter. That promoter will make it happen. Promoter goes to the show and see how hard fans go in that genre of music, and then they lean into it. At first, it's cool because you're getting all those shows, but then they turn into juggalo rappers. I'm fucking telling you, it happens so much. And fucking, they don't know the culture. They just know that the culture made them money, and they're leaning into it really hard. And that's the exact opposite of what the fuck we're here for.
Absolutely. Oh my God, you couldn't have said that better or put it better. And like, I feel not that I'm in like a position, but that's my cautiousness. Like, sure, I search most of my artists I have found within the Juggalo community, or you know what I'm saying, in our culture or scene, but not all of them. And I worry about that very thing. Like, they might even come on here and say, I am not a juggalo. But then they see the traction or whatever. And like, if ever that happened, you know what I'm saying? Like, before my little interview, they were just in their own lane. Here, my channel is Dreadlockjuggalo interviewing artists. You know, I would hate for that to happen. Like, somebody's like, oh, and then now I see their face all over our culture trying to claim or say whoop whoop when you didn't even know how to pronounce it before my interview. Like, please don't be fake. Just be
Yeah.
yourself. And I'm not saying it's happened, but that's exactly, I've seen that
Yeah.
happen, you know, online. You can tell when somebody's a jug or when they're not. And it's
Yeah.
okay. You ain't got to be a jug to kick it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. For real. Yeah. And yeah, then there's the opposite end of the spectrum too. Is like, I hate. I, I call them fam kids, but to be respectful, I just, in the most respectful terms, I don't respect juggalos who think that there are rules to this shit. I got two fucking rules for you. I got two rules. Don't be racist. Don't fuck kids. If you can follow those two rules, kick it. Like, what the fuck are we even talking about?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there's the golden, you know, like, just don't be a shitty person.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I don't care. I don't care if you're a fucking, if you're a thief, I'll keep my shit locked up. If you're a drug dealer, I'll remember that you might rob me. But like, fucking, like, I'll kick it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
All walks of life is the thing, I guess, is what I'm saying. And yeah, I hate it when people fucking try to be following
gatekeep.
rules, being like everything, acting like everything that Jay says is fucking like religion.
Law.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jay, listen, I don't agree with motherfuckers calling him a pedo right now and all that bullshit about TikTok. But I'm going to say it like that. The we that know, we real ones, like, no, everything. Jay be on some bullshit. He hasn't always been perfect. That man's been off the rocker a few
Well,
times, you know.
like, if we're gonna be real, if we're gonna be realistic and emotionally mature adults about it, Violent J grew up in a culture where toughness, uh, and the idea of not giving a fuck came with hitting on younger women, and then he also grew up in a culture where it was comedic to point that out.
Shock value. Yeah.
Right. And so like there's like right now there's a video circulating of him on Howard Stern talking about, I guess he's talking to like a 16-year-old girl on the phone being like, "What do your nipples look like?" And like, but like also he's on a radio show and Howard Stern hosted the call, and it's like, what's he supposed to do? Look at fucking Howard Stern and be like, "Sorry, big powerful radio man who's given us an opportunity. I'm just gonna be saying shit right now."
Right.
But
I'm not gonna do this.
but then also at the same time, like the whole thing with Will Sigler is fucking disgusting, and they have. Do you know about that?
With who?
Will Sigler. So it's one of their homies. They employed him for a long time. I don't think he's employed anymore, but he raped a 14-year-old girl with a weapon. The uh, police files aren't specific on the weapon, but after he got charged with it, they kept him employed, and then they also like bought him a place to live and like all kinds of shit in order to help him get back on his feet when he got out of jail. And so like they definitely really
I'm not sure I
sympathize.
knew that. Because Shaggy literally just made that shit on the Shaggy show saying, we don't associate with nobody like that. You know what I'm saying?
They
Like, he said,
they
buy a VIP and come say it to my face that I'm a pedo, pedophile. I don't know if YouTube cares if you say it, really. It ain't about monetization for me. So, whatever. We having a real conversation here.
yeah. Well, back in the day, fucking I was a big part of Juggalo memes and what used to be called Call Your Mom. And one of the people who started those pages, his name's Fallen, he got super like obsessed with like following the court case. He would upload court case documents to our group chat all the time, and he turned them into memes too. And fucking and so like yeah, they say shit like that, but like honestly, if I went into my memes folder on my phone and I scrolled back to that year, I could find actual court case documents proving that they fucking it, I employed him beforehand and employed him afterwards and got him a place to live and all kinds of shit. So that's a
Wow.
whole big issue that I just try to not think about when I enjoy their music.
Oh, I'm gonna sit here and say I'm not sure I knew. It would have been, I think it would have been different for me. Not that I want to be a juggalo, because that's what I mean. ICP put the recognition on being just an outcast and a misfit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have nothing to call us, and then all of a sudden there was Juggalo,
Yeah,
and it checked off all the boxes. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
100%. Yeah,
So
they didn't make up the word. They are not the culture, and the things that they say are not 100%. It say and do are not 100% representative of us as a whole. Um,
right.
and yeah, um, so uh, you probably I it seems like Twisted's not really your vibe. But
So, like Dark Lotus days, obviously the separation, I haven't really listened to them, and even not just like I don't know. I guess I just neglected, and then I have a homie that is like full on still listens to Twisted and shit, and I ain't hating on my homie. My whole thing is I don't care who you listen to. I just may choose not to listen to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that homie hating on Twizzlers or calling.
oh
I just said it, but I typically don't call people Twizzlers or I don't care.
oh, so I'm gonna put a pin in that real quick because I have a really good story for that term. But yeah, no, and I want to say like last year, maybe 2 years ago, they released "Songs of Sam Hain" Volume 4, and there is like a little, for lack of a better term, skit at the end of one of the songs. I don't remember which one, but they perfectly break down what we're talking about right now about how like it's supposed to be about individuality and like all that shit and not like following one voice. um yeah, I don't know, I'll have to find it and I'll send it to you, but
Do you think they
yeah.
made that though because of their views and shit was falling and like ICP obviously still has the
No,
views or
if they were doing that, they wouldn't have put it on Songs of Sam Hain Volume 4 at the end of a song as an unlisted skit.
True.
They would have put
True.
it on, and they would have put it on an actual Twisted album, and they would have named the skit, and they probably would have made a YouTube video out of it if they really wanted it to get exposure. But they put it there
Yeah.
for the real ones who didn't turn on, who listened to the end of the song. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So no, I don't think it was like that. I don't think they're really like that. I think my biggest complaint. I have a couple big complaints, but my biggest complaint about Twisted is like you could tell that they leaned into that Warp Tour vibe for funding, and I really hate that fucking sound. Whatever fucking their whole last album can eat my whole ass. Actually, there's one really good song on it, but I don't really like that Warp Tour rock twisted vibe. I do like my rock twisted, but I don't like it to sound like it would be played at Warp Tour. And there was something about the beef. Like mostly, I agree with their. Oh yeah, hiring Otis. What the fuck? Yeah, there's no excusing that behavior. I'm sorry. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Man, I watched that interview. Who is it? Is it Blaze that talks about it on YouTube? Or like they pretty much said like they wanted to leave ICP before all the fucking A and B the bullshit that happened and whatnot. But they were sticking around or whatever, and then
Oh, they were on a
I don't.
contract.
Right.
They were on like a 12 CD contract.
And then something about like one of them wasn't even gonna like. I think it was Blaze. Blaze thought he was still cool. Twisted. He was like, "Well, fuck you, Jay." And then we're like, "Y'all need to go." That's da 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 da. He thought he was still gonna like rock
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
apparently
No,
not. Jay's like, "Nah, you can just fuck off with your boys then." And he's like, "Oh, it's like that."
Yeah, the way Jay explained that was perfect because like from Blaze's perspective, like yeah, he wasn't planning to switch over to M&E anytime soon. But from any realistic perspective, the second they got their footing and they became a successful label, there's no reason they wouldn't take Blaze with them. Blaze was always a Twisted project.
That's their homie.
Madrox writes all of Blaze's lyrics. I mean,
Right.
at least rewrites them to a beat. Don't believe me? Check the writing credits on Wikipedia. Anyway, fucking so like Jay just assumed that Blaze was gonna go with Twisted and announced it at the gathering, and Blaze was like, I didn't plan on doing that, but okay, I will. And
Lord Farquaad, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. He put, unfortunately, I'll be seeing them soon. My girlfriend's dream is to see him. IDK if I should rock a Ouija shirt or a Tech Nine shirt. And then he also said, I don't want to get jumped. Listen, it doesn't have to be unfortunate. That's what I like to try to address. Now there are certain people that I'm not, and it's my choice again. Just like it's your choice to still go listen to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Don't take my word as law. It's just my own choices and preferences. But you don't got to say unfortunate. One, they were and are homies. Secondly, your old lady apparently is very passionate about seeing them. So you're doing it for her. Don't make it an unfortunate moment, dude. Just, support where you can. And you're going to see other homies that even support the clowns. And, I don't think they're going to be like, oh, you got an ICP shirt? Jump that motherfucker.
I don't think you'll find any hate anywhere near a Twisted show, that's for sure. You could wear whatever the fuck you want. I don't think anybody gives a shit. I usually wear ICP shirts to Twisted shows and then vice versa. I mean, dude, I normally go to ICP shows in Gmo gear. Fuck with me. So I'm about it. But no, I love it when like I went to the Riddlebox tour and the DJ between the sets started playing some Twisted, and the room seriously separated into booze and then people singing Twisted really loud to like cover the booze. And like evenly, it was like 50-50. It split the room, and I was like, I love this. It felt like democracy. It felt like we were voting. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like sitting there just like shouting the Twisted lyrics. This dude next to me is like booing. We're both smiling though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Fucking yeah. And so I think that
It's
like that vibe right there is gonna encapsulate it. But also, like, if you do wear a Ouija Mac shirt to a Twisted show and someone's like, Ouija sucks, just accept it. That's how they
Yeah,
feel.
you done it. Right.
Don't,
You took that
yeah,
initiative, just take it on the shoulder and go on with it.
yeah.
And
And just be like,
otherwise,
true. That's why I like it.
yeah.
Whatever. No
I
reason
don't
to
think
fight.
because even at the gathering, you hear fucking Twisted played at the camps. I don't give a fuck who you are. At least I did last year. In between walking around and shit. No, you wasn't hearing it like I don't know on stage, obviously, but in between camps and people's cars, even people just going around going Lotus. Like you can't get that chime out of your head, bro. Like.
Bro,
Magic, magic, ninja, what? Like, come on. So,
my
yeah,
fucking
just.
my favorite concert beef story. This was like Welcome to the Underground tour. It had to have been 2015. I had just started like really fucking like really trying to get into the rap game, and so fucking Twisted was gonna be in the hood, and fucking I went to the RSVP page for that, and I just started adding everybody who RSVP'd to the show, and just like chatted it up with them and showed them my music, right? Because I wanted to get like a local foundation. So like the local band that was opening for them just assumed that I went to their page and started adding all their fans because their fans are people that RSVP'd to the page. And then one of the people from that band hit me up and told me that I should kill myself because I was adding all of their fans and trying to steal their fan base and that I sucked and that I could never make music and all kinds of shit. And so instead of responding, I took a screenshot of his message and put it in the RSVP thing, and fucking everybody who RSVP'd to the show fucking started commenting on it. And, wow, these guys are pieces of shit, yada yada yada. And fucking so then we get to the show and it's they're performing and everybody just starts like booing and fucking walks away from the stage. These dudes are pissed, right? And fucking one of the dudes in the band on the stage, that same dude that messaged me, he was wearing a Freddy Krueger glove on stage. And fucking where Twist is on stage, we're at the point in the show where Twist is on stage, everybody's all grouped up and fucking we're all vibing, and there's this big dude in front of me, like 300 pounds, and I'm just trying to like get around him, and I see over my shoulder, I see that shiny fucking Freddy Krueger glove, and I was like, this motherfucker, I knew he was coming over to fuck with me, right? And I could feel him standing behind me, and so fucking I went to move so that I could go over, and right when I moved, he went to stab me with the Freddy Krueger glove, and he ended up fucking getting the giant fucking 300-pound dude that was in front of me. That dude turned around and decked that motherfucker in the face.
Oh,
Fucking
oh.
everybody was like, what the fuck? And he was like, that guy stabbed me. And fucking I just like I just ran away, dude.
I'm out of it. It wasn't me. Karma, baby.
Shouts out to the
That's
big
that's.
dude that got stabbed. I'm sure you're okay. I know you're okay. No ambulance showed up. But
That's awesome.
they ended up kicking that dude out of the band, and then the band broke up, and I'm still here, still kicking it.
Yeah, right. Still making music. Humble among, way don't twisted, just show up as fans. What? Humble among. Oh, he's quoting. Why don't Twisted just show up as as fans? Yeah, they could do that, but I think there's probably some. If I'm guessing the clowns has some kind of gray area there. That's their event,
It's
so
not.
they get.
It's not a gray area. They won't allow him around, bro. It's just like It's to such an extent that I've been denied collabs from multiple Psychopathic Records artists because my music as it sits right now is way too entangled with Magic Ninja Entertainment. Um, like I literally can't get a collab from anybody because they're not allowed to work with artists who have worked so closely with Twisted, and I have collabs with pretty much everybody who's ever been on Magic Ninja except for Monoxide.
Yeah,
So yeah, I got
they
denied.
fuck with Clockwork E, and Clockwork E went on tour with Twisted before they done the three-headed monster tour with ICP and Ouija.
Yeah, Clockwork E. Wait, Clockwork E. I don't know who that is. Clockwork
You don't
Gray.
know who Clockwork E is? Bill Davis and Kyle Combs? Booth Brothers, Silver Booth
Oh,
Boys.
oh. You don't want my opinions on that. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm just saying. It's just for the reference of like
Yeah.
they worked with Twisted, and then also worked well, at least done the tour with ICP opening on the Three Headed Monster tour because that's where
Yeah.
I first saw 'em. But obviously, you got some. Well, we might have that discussion off camera. We'll leave it off this interview though. I'm gonna jump to this last question that I have, man, as a straight shot question because you have given me like two interviews in one interview. We've
Hell
been
yeah.
chopping it up for almost 2 hours now, and I haven't even made it to the game questions, which those are pretty short and straightforward,
I'm
but
never
we
worried
don't
about
even.
time. I prefer long form discussions. Most episodes of my podcast are like 3+ hours, so I'm not worried about it. But
Oh,
yeah.
well, all right then. We'll just keep rocking along then. I don't even know what time I work tomorrow, but I'm sure it's in the afternoon. I normally stay up until like three
Oh yeah,
o'clock
my bad.
anyhow.
I forgot that you're on like the East Coast. It's still
Yeah,
early.
it's 11:36 here.
Word.
11:36. So that ain't too bad. It's still technically early. I'm cool if you're cool. I just don't want to keep
Yeah.
you past
No,
whatever,
I'm good, dude. I really like this whole thing that you have laid out. Most time when I go on other people's podcasts, it seems like they're like struggling for things to talk about, and you've not only like layered questions, but you're like actually listening, and you're like drawing conclusions at the end of like every like third or fourth question, and like I like that. That's some cool shit. You got a cool thing
I
going
got a
on.
whole book, man. I didn't think if you would have asked me 109 interviews ago if I thought I would be doing my 111th, I would have said no.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like I really for like 3 or 4 days at work. So I went to the gathering. Obviously, I had the benefit of knowing like King Wicked and a couple artists, and I asked them just before I even thought about making it a public thing. I said, "Would you let me ask you questions, like interview style?" And then they're like, "Well." Yeah, I guess, you're cool. We homies or whatever. And they're like, what would you ask? I said, I don't fucking know.
yeah,
So then I went back home, gathering was over. You have those first few days after the gathering, it's like, oh man, you're missing it. You're almost like homesick. So it done me good. And I just started thinking of questions. I'm like, what would fans, people that don't get to actually do VIPs or have that encounter with their favorite artist really want to know? Not the shit that all the big wig, not big wigs, but like famous people are giving on their little whatever. It's like, how can I relate somebody with an artist that they're just finding out? Like, I asked you what your favorite color is. What's your favorite animal? How often does somebody ask a big mainstream artist what their favorite color is, or something like that? So no, it ain't a joke. It ain't a ploy, and I give a shit less about monetization. I owe it to myself, man. I gatekeeped my own music for 20 years. Okay, if the clowns did not put them in front of me, or they were not on the radio, I didn't give a shit about the underground. And that's a shitty way. I missed out on a lot of great music, a lot of great music. I owe it to artists. I owe it to myself. I say music has saved my life in times of just misery. How can I say that if I don't really like, you know what I'm saying? So this is just, if I can get anybody a view that they may not have had or something of that nature, then I've done my part to pay it back and pay forward to my selfishness. So that's pretty much how it all kind of came about. So yeah, it's not like I just, hey Google, give me 20 questions. You know what I'm saying? I really tried to put some thought into the questions. I like to hear the answers that you guys give. So I appreciate you noticing that, it's not just, oh, oh, oh.
yeah,
No, fuck that, bro.
yeah,
And because what's the point? Why should you give me your time? And
yeah,
I didn't know you had the podcast. Maybe that's why it's easier for you to sit here. Because some artists, I can tell. I do the observing. I can tell when you're bored, when
yeah,
you're getting tired of the stream or something, and then I'm like, all right, and I'll skip a question. You know what I'm saying, on purpose. I'll start cutting back some questions. If you're engaging, you're giving it to me, then That's what I mean. I tell every artist, or I try to, this is your interview. Make it what you want. I just got a platform. I enjoy getting to learning new music, and going from there. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
17 Bulls is like when I have guests on, like, so what'll happen is like when something funny happens like naturally on the podcast, it becomes an inside joke like immediately, and I like write it down, and then when I have guests on, I try to like bring them into the inside joke and kind of get their perspective on it, which is hilarious because like me and my homies are all, we're pretty like different from each other, and we all have fucked up minds in our own different way, so it's like dragging somebody into like this whole world made of like fucked up minds. And yeah, people usually they start out like uncomfortable, like why the fuck would you even ask me that, and then by the end of the podcast they're like, what, you give me one more, give me one more, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, the only person we've ever really done interview style was Cody Manson, and that's just because we were trying to break down that beef. But yeah, mostly I'm
Yeah,
just about like trying to get people to be weird and like just break out of uh
their
their
uncomfort
natural
or comfort.
interview mind state.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would, dude. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'd be a guest. I've only been on a couple. Like I've given, like I said, and I've done others. I've interviewed. I don't know if you know who Rigman is.
I don't.
Advertisements. He supports small businesses in the Juggalo world, and he pretty much just smokes a lot of dabs and does dumb shit. At the gathering last year, he done a dab of flapjack, and again, you don't like him, but Clockwork E's butt hairs. Like, why? I don't fucking know, because it's stupid. That's why. He done that on the pirate ship, the ship of fools or whatever. But so like I've interviewed a couple other just odd homies that for one reason or another I feel like they had something to talk about or whatever. But like me myself, I think I've only been on like three different podcasts. Swill Bilson's Swill's Edition. I don't know if you know
Oh yeah.
about that.
Heck.
The what the hell is old boy's name? I'm drawing a blank. Give me a second. I'm gonna look right here at his sticker. The Occult Rejects. He's got a channel with like 200,000 subscribers, bro. I got to get on his podcast with Humble Among, and we all talked about the gathering and shit. And I think I was on Strange Suspicions once or something. But yeah, so my point is, I don't get interviewed. I would love for you to. I'd come on your show and you can break me down out of my comfort zone.
Hell yeah, dog. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, once we're out of this hiatus, it'll be good. Well, the major issue is that like 17 bowls was never a planned thing. Me and the homie were doing acid, and fucking we burst this thing called televised fight to the death for money, which sounds pretty simple, but it's got a lot of rules and regulations. And we needed a place for televised fight to the death for money to be discussed, and so we started the podcast for that, but we knew we couldn't just rely on that, and so we counted all of our pieces together, and we had 17 of them. And fucking so we fucking put all 17 pieces on the table, we loaded them all, turned on the camera, fucking recorded us smoking all 17 bowls and kind of talking about televised fight to the death for money. And that like turned into like this beautiful thing of a bunch of like inside jokes. That dude ended up being kind of a piece of shit, and so him and I aren't friends anymore, and so I replaced him as a co-host on the show, because I did all the technical stuff and all the cool stuff, so it's my show. And fucking uh I didn't have the same vibe with the replacement co-host, though we do have a good vibe. The person that I replaced him with isn't as like speculative, and the idea behind televised fight to the death for money is putting your mind in unrealistic situations as realistically as possible. And so I need to find somebody that I can do that with, and I'm kind of looking for that right now. But if not, I'm still just gonna start recording them with the homie and just kind of like find. There's another lane that we both have together, and it just needs to be found. And once my
yeah.
schedule can work with it, we'll find it.
All right. That's what's up. I'm curious to see it. I'm definitely gonna check out your shit, some of your old shit, anyhow that you've done, recorded and whatnot. Let's jump with another question then. You're very talented, my guy, from what I've learned so far in 2 hours. So I'm gonna ask you, do you think the skill came natural, or did you have to like learn and work at it? And what I mean by that is some people are born with given talents, so they say, air quotes by that, and other people have to practice and learn and go through, strenuous training, but then they're equally competitive in whatever that thing is. Do you think it came more natural or it was more of a learning curve?
So I'm naturally decent at everything. Meaning that like if you put me in a group of like random people to do I don't give a fuck what the task is. I'm probably going to be in the top 3 of those random people. But then if I'm like, "Oh, I like that," and I go surround myself in people or around people that are into that, you quickly learn that you don't know shit, right? All these people are
Right.
like way better than you. And so like I have always been like naturally able to write and naturally able to rap and memorize lyrics and things like that and really like be able to dissect a beat in my brain. Um but no, dude, my first album is was trash. You can't even find it anymore. But like the flows are so basic and like the lyrics actually are decent, but I had already been writing for a long time at that point. But like the flows are trash and the way that I'm saying words is trash and like uh it got to the point where like I was like I have to do this an hour a day. You know what I'm saying? And at that point it was just like it started with I was really bad at hooks, like writing hooks and fucking so I decided that I would spend an hour a day just going to a website with a bunch of random beats and writing hooks to those beats even if I didn't give a shit how like what the it didn't matter what the beats sound. I would write a hook for it and I would just do that for like an hour a day and I did that for like 2 months and honestly like and I've practiced a lot since then too but honestly the hooks that I write are fucking phenomenal and they're that good because I put in that time. And then I changed that to rehearsing like rapping and stuff for like just enunciating and saying things fast and saying things slow and whatever, kind of just like finding pockets and beats and stuff. I did that for an hour a day for a long time. Now it's at the point where I write for an hour a day no matter what, and I've been doing that for years now. It's not it doesn't always rhyme, you know what I'm saying? But I write for an hour a day, and then when I'm working on music, every song before I go into the studio, I rehearse for like 3 hours.
Damn, no shit.
Um, and so be, and because like, dude, I hate it when like and I know listeners can't tell, but I can tell when I'm reading words off my phone in the recording. You know what I'm saying? It's way better.
Right.
I'd way rather be able to go into the booth with no lyrics because I have the song memorized and rap it
Right.
than fucking read off my phone. Um and so like a lot of I still practice all the time and I I mean not to toot my own horn, I'm pretty fucking good at like the whole spectrum of everything that comes. The only thing I can't do is sing. Um fucking but yeah, it came from a lot of practice,
Well,
like
I
an
think
insane
that's
amount of
notable.
practice. And there's a lot more practice to be practiced.
See, yes. And listen, I've done 111 artists. Who am I? I'm nobody. I don't know shit. What do I know what I'm talking about? But let me tell you, I think that's the difference between a great artist and a good artist. A couple points that you just mentioned, maybe without even knowing it. One, you acknowledged your growth. Okay, from when you first started you said maybe then you might have thought it was even okay or maybe not, but you see that it was trash, or you say, I'm not saying trash, but I did say trash, but you know what
No,
I'm saying,
no,
like
dude,
it's
genuinely, I'm like, who let me release this? Like, it's trash. Yeah.
right. And then growth, you learned, you said, I need to do repetition and do this for myself to get better at whatever it may have been. And you said you can notice that pause, that even if it's a silent pause in between reading a syllable on a word on lyrics and just saying it, like just talking, the difference of that sound, that's a real thing or whatever. What else was I gonna say? And that's big too, because listen, countless times have I've heard Ouija and I goad him, you know what I'm saying? And Ouija even say, I don't even know this fucking song. I just spit it and it was recorded and that was a track. You know your songs. I'm sure I could just pick a song. I don't know all of your songs, but I'm saying I could probably pick a song and go second verse and you probably could just start singing it. Or you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Not
every
all
single
artists
song.
can do that. Good and great. And then lastly, you never stop learning. I don't care what. If you think you have learned it all, then to me, you may be good, but you ain't great because there's always something to learn in your craft, what you're doing, or just try to better improve. Or maybe not. Maybe you don't care like that. But then why are you in the game in the first place? Or you know what I'm saying? Like value what you're doing and put some effort into it. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
You obviously have those skills. You say you can't sing, so well, not that you can't. I mean, you write raps and stuff, but you're saying you really just don't do singing songs and stuff like that, huh? Like,
Yeah.
what
So
what
my
what is it that you don't what that stops you from doing that? Because obviously you have all these other things touched, or you're in those lanes. What makes it? Do you think hard for you? Your voice just doesn't resonate there, or just I
well,
don't.
so I could do a really low like baritone, which isn't really singing, but it adds vibes. And then like my natural singing voice is it registers like in a C minor, I think. It's really like just not appealing to the ear.
I
So
got you.
I would have to take like singing classes, and I think that the big issue there is just that it can't be self-taught. Like it has to be done with another human, and
Right.
I'm not very good at being told what to do.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I haven't had too many people come up here and say that, so I figured I'd ask. That's kind of
But
cool.
like that's also, it doesn't stop me. Like if it calls for singing, if the beat calls for singing, it doesn't stop me from fucking trying to do it. And if it sounds like shit, from my opinion, that's the art. So
Right.
someone will
I'm
buy it.
sure when you're listening, which that's so weird to me. Because I don't know, I'm not an artist. I've scribbled some songs down. I've been put on songs. Evil Cook, Ouija put my whoop on his song, whatever. But I'm not an artist, and I know that. And it when I ask you guys this, it's almost like a mental like pause for a minute. Like when you're listening to music. Like how is it possible for you to listen to somebody else? Ain't that competition then or whatever? Like no, you still got to be able to enjoy music. But my point of saying that is, I bet you sing songs that you like to you. Like
Oh yeah.
lightly, or you know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
when you're
yeah.
listening to music for you probably sing, but you're not gonna your songs. You're saying, you ain't got
Yeah.
it ain't there. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I do a very good like soft singing. When it comes to projecting, my voice like real cracks. It yeah, but like my natural voice is like there's like this deep tone under it and then a high pitched, like my voice is two different pitches naturally. Like right now when I'm talking, as I'm
Right.
dissecting the sound in my head, I can hear like the low and the high. And fucking and so when I project even louder, it like splits into this weird thing. And I'm certain that there's a vocal coach that could teach me how to do it, but yeah, I suck at taking direction.
Right on. Lord Farquaad said, "What's your zodiac? A Cancer?"
I am a Pisces.
Oh shit, I'm a Gemini. My birthday's in like I don't know 3 days. Thursday the 29th.
Hell yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah,
Um,
astrology is wild. I studied it for a long time. Not certain I believe in it, but I know a lot about it.
when they told me that I went from being a Gemini to something else because something changed or shifted and all the things
Yeah,
shifted a few days, fuck you. My
yeah.
whole
Well,
life I've been a Gemini. What do you mean
I
now I'm
mean,
not a Gemini?
technically, people born on your birthday aren't Geminis, but you I think would still be. I don't know what the specifics are there,
So
but yeah, it
it's
wasn't.
May. What is it? It's like May 20th to June 6th or June 5th or something. It used to always be, but that's what I mean. I know there's like a I don't know. There's something. It might have shifted a week or a day or I don't know something.
But yeah, that's the it what I mean it seems like a few days, but like it's a whole era. I want to say era is the right word. So we went from the era of Cancer to the era of Pisces, I want to say. I could be wrong. It could have been Pisces to something else. Well, one's the fish. Fish is Pisces?
Yeah, yeah. I
So
think.
okay, and then Jesus is represented by the fish. So we were in the era of Jesus, and now we're in the next one. So whatever's after Pisces is the era that we're in now. Um, but yeah, it took a whole era to get there. But yeah, like a lot of old like biblical stories and like calendar markers and things like that, and astrology is based off of our position to the constellations. And yeah, we change the our position of the constellation changes once every era.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in like zodiac per se. I am fascinated by planets and space to an extent, to the extent that I can comprehend and need to comprehend. I don't need to think about beyond our galaxy and all of that because I'm never going there. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna be there. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I don't
I'm
know.
yeah, I'm super obsessed with like light in general and the electromagnetic spectrum, which covers like all of space. And so I even know I like, dude, I'm so into it that I only believe that there's one electron that exists in the whole like fucking universe. Anyway, fucking what was I saying? What were we talking about? Space.
uh,
I don't know. Either way, fucking
the horoscopes, the
oh
fucking
yeah, yeah.
era, and
I don't believe like because of how deep I am into like time travel and things like that. I don't think like the horoscope matters. Because like, bro, if I went back to when you were 6 and just fucking moved an apple that was on your fucking kitchen table, your whole life would be different today. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? And so like I really doubt that like you can develop characteristics based on the month that you were born when your like characteristic development is literally as sensitive as a fucking butterfly flapping its wings.
Right.
So, and
Yeah.
but like yeah, dude, if you were born 10 months before Christmas, and fucking dude, you're fucking like almost 1 years old and Christmas is happening. I bet you fucking love Christmas for the rest of your life. And with Christmas, I
Right.
bet, which means that you probably fuck with the idea of joy and gift giving. So like if you're a male who grew up in my era and you were born 10 months before Christmas, I bet you like anime, because I bet you like superheroes that like to uh like rep their friendship. And so like it is easy to like calculate like that, the way things that people might be into based on when they were born. But that's just again cultural referencing uh like dates, not as much as it is based on where the stars are at.
Right, right. I don't have the brain to even like comprehend half of what you know, my guy. But I get the gist of it.
I get that a lot. I get that a lot. So don't worry about it.
I was an ADHD little kid, and I smoked a lot of weed, and I obviously done my fair share of some drugs, and yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know. I just
what's
didn't dive into the space and astronauts, and I can't get over drinking my own urine, and that.
well, that's if you believe in astronauts. But fucking the sorry, I was like, what I consider to be like dumb as fuck, dude, until I was like 20 years old and I was doing acid for like the third time ever. And my friend was like, he brought up Mobius strips, and I was like, what's a Mobius strip? And so he showed me what it is, and it essentially shows that like a piece of paper only has one side. So I got obsessed with like spatial dimensions, and I followed spatial dimensions all the way up to like light, which is time is a measurement of light, which followed me into
Right.
time, which got me into like science, which got me into like biology, animals, which got me into history, and then also I've been obsessed with religion my whole life because I was raised in a super religious household, and yeah, so like it wasn't it was just like the ingredients of like LSD plus this discovery of like a singular dimension that like sparked my brain and like turned me into like what I am today. But
You're
like
like, I gotta learn. I gotta figure
the
this out.
the year before that, if you would have been like, hey, like what do you think the Big Bang is? I would have been like, who gives a shit? You know?
Right, now you got a whole theorem in your head.
I'll tell you. I mean, I can tell you what the Big Bang is. Like,
Which,
yeah.
but I mean, I don't have an opinion one way or another. I don't know. You know, uh,
I mean, like, I can
I,
tell you what the Big Bang is as well as like a fucking scientist could. They obviously don't know everything, so you know.
or share everything anyhow.
But yeah, you'll notice a lot. I like to say like that's if you believe in these things. Like, I would be a fool to say that I actually know anything. Uh, I've taken information given to me, and I believe that information. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
if someone were to tell me fucking, I don't know, something that I believe in isn't real, I wouldn't fight it. I wouldn't argue it. I would just be like, yeah, okay, cool. Like I'm open.
Right.
I'm totally open to that spectrum. Like, I would love to be proven wrong.
See,
That's
I think that's what makes me kind of, on the level. I'm just a very optimistic person. I won't completely denounce nothing. I'm a kind of believe it when I see it type person or whatever, or at least have enough reason otherwise for me to believe that it is true or sure, or rather this guy believes it or not. Because, I mean, like you said, he was raised religious. My mom was, a Christian our whole life. And, I went through the whole searching for man's fate, and I joined an apostolic church and
Did you watch
Catholic and
VeggieTales growing up?
Pentecostalic. Huh?
Did you watch VeggieTales growing up?
Yes, I did.
Fuck yeah, dog.
VeggieTales was actually the shit. Like that was the
Yeah.
one part about Sunday school that was okay. You know what I'm
Hell
saying? I'm
yeah.
like, wait, this
Hell
is
yeah.
Jesus stuff?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
So
No,
yeah, absolutely.
I definitely say that I get a lot of my swagger from Larry the Cucumber, dog. Hell yeah.
Ah, that's that shit, bro. So, I mean, it wasn't all terrible, but I don't think I ever got the answers I was looking for, which led me to be, I don't know. I don't know what my religion is. Agnostic. I want to say I'm atheist. I don't know that. I just don't believe in if a God is correct, the whole ultimate whys and why and what, well, then why and how. And I guess I choose not to fucking think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
it's a situation. I mean, it's a thing that I don't discuss much. But if I can disprove it, I don't believe in it. So I don't believe in Jesus. Pretty much the only religion that I believe in that worships a singular God would be Judaism. But like I mostly fuck with like Buddhist religions and shit like that.
okay, all right, yeah. I got another question for you. Who or what came up with your stage name? How did that come about? And logo. Do you have a logo that is identifiably yours? If it's on a hat, a shirt, a car, or whatever.
That is an excellent question. So my first rap name ever was Suicide. I rapped under it for a long time. It was something I came up with when I was in like fourth grade or whatever. I really was embracing that fucking juggalo culture. And and then I realized somewhere around like probably like high school that the name was kind of whack. And so I was like looking for a different name. I kind of tried to go by Crack for a minute. Uh I didn't really like that either. And then I had really just started getting into like making music, and I was rapping under the name Suicide again, but I had expressed to the lady I was dating at the time that I fucking really didn't like it. And fucking um well, we were chilling there one day, and I have big ears. You can't tell because my hair is long, but she was making fun of my big ears and my cheeks, and she was saying that I look like Dopey, the dwarf from Snow White, and fucking I like laughed or whatever, and I was like, that would be a solid name, and she was like, she is black. I'm obviously white or whatever, and
But
uh, I have this dresser. It's actually right here in this shot. It's all dark now, but I have people write on it all the time, and I write on it all the time. And she was like, "But yeah, you would spell it like dough because you're white." And she was like making fun of me or whatever. And I was like, "That's actually pretty clever." And she got up and she grabbed the Sharpie off the shelf and she wrote it on the dresser. Fuck,
oh hell yeah.
I wish I could see it from there. And I fucking looked over. I looked over it and I saw it Doughpey, and I was like, "That's fucking it, dude." And so then I fucking immediately like, dude, I was so poor at the moment. I didn't even have a cell phone. I fucking went and I grabbed a fucking my notepad and my pencil, and I like thought about it, and I wrote this line that was something like, "I'm doper than a dough rope covered in meth coke and leftover crack smoke on your ex's death note, explaining why she slit her throat. Now tell me that's not fucking dope." And I was
Ooh.
like, fucking damn, I could really lean into this dope thing. And fucking, yeah, Dopey was fucking born that day. So I didn't come up with it. She came up with it, just kind of like poking fun at me. And it fucking stuck. So
That's
yeah,
dope. That's fucking awesome, bro.
yeah.
That's a way to get a name, and that's what threw me off the spelling too. I'm like, is it? Am I not? Is it Dopey? Dopey? Like, is there a play on words there? I wasn't sure. So
Yeah, no, I mean, she put in the dough because I'm white, so it is
yeah,
literally just
yeah.
like dough because I'm white. But yeah, it's just because I look like Dopey. I guess it's because I got big ears and I'm white. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm also a silly motherfucker. Like, dude, my music is fucking silly as shit. And
Right,
now it's
yeah.
time for silly songs with Larry. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, I was
Hell
so
yeah.
fucking Christian brainwashed as a kid. But yeah, VeggieTales is
That's
fucking
why
sick.
also when you sent me that picture or whatever for the thumbnail, I'm like, is this guy? Well, why is he? You don't want his face? Like, what's
Well, oh, that
why?
goes. You asked about the logo. I've
Yeah,
struggled coming up with a logo. I've made a few. I just actually made a new one. I haven't released it yet. It will be on the next albums, and I think it's going to be my official logo. It pretty much looks like a can of, you know, the Pillsbury doughs that you like pop the lid off and you hit it. It
yeah.
looks like a busted one of those cans with like moldy dough coming out of it, and it says Dopey across. It's real simple though. So I kind of fucks with that vibe. So I'm
Okay.
thinking about making that my logo. But yeah, I don't know. It's been tough. I've never really had a logo. I've normally, like, ever since I had that Dopey face made for me, I've used that. But before that, um, like way back in the day, I dropped my first album called Life in the Attic. I literally made it in the homie's attic with a Radio Shack mic. It's available somewhere on fucking Bandcamp. Uh,
Yeah, band lab and shit.
but fucking when I released it, I pushed it hella hard because, dude, I grew up reading Behind the Paint, and I thought to myself, like, how do I flyer parking lots in this generation? So I just started hitting up juggalos and being like, hey, check this out. I know the quality's not that good, but the lyrics are fucking sick. And this one dude really felt it. His name's Christian. I can't remember his last name, but he drew me a picture of myself. He just took a picture of my face, and he drew my face paint in on it, and I was like holding a bong and a knife, and I was like, yo, this is fucking sick. And so that was my logo for like 5 years.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
and then I started working with this guy who goes by Weeby, and he makes all my art. And he made a different version of me, which I used for a couple years. And then he made the updated, like, actual Doughpey one that you posted. And I fuck with that one pretty heavy. I like it a lot.
You could like turn it into your own little like Hatchet Man version or whatever, maybe. Put a little hatchet in his hand and stuff and make it a side like I don't know, logo or something like that.
But yeah, it doesn't really work too well for show posters, so I have to make something more compact. So I think that the can of dough will be cool, but
Nah, yeah, yeah, for sure.
it's tough
Um,
to define yourself in one small image.
yeah, yeah. But definitely logos are keen. You know, you can recognize that from almost a mile away on a shirt, on the right shirt or something. That's one thing I think Ouija does do good is like logo and
Yeah,
advertising and merch and
fucking
stuff like that.
Shaggy the Airhead. His fucking art,
Yeah, boy, his lines
dog.
solid.
I was mad at him for a minute, but he's a cool dude.
Yeah. Oh shit. We definitely gonna have to do some off-camera talking. I gotta write down these names.
I would honestly talk about that one on camera. I can't remember what it was though.
Yeah,
I think it had something to do with like yeah.
maybe just a misunderstanding or
Yeah, I
something.
think I was just young and in my ego, honestly. That's a big dude. If I have a warning for any fucking young rapper, it's say you ain't shit, dog. You need to chill out. For real. You really you got to get your whole ass body in the game, not just your foot before you can start having fucking big opinions like that. And I understand that, and that's why I'm not saying anything about fucking Clockwork. But I have hit them up directly and let them know that I have an issue. So
Yeah, yeah, no, I feel it. I can respect you standing on your word and your moral and, 10 toes. Because a lot of people just cave to whatever's the bigger, the better, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I have people that don't fuck with me because I've stayed me, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I have people for some reason that have beef with me that I don't even know why. But I'm not going to save face, play nice. I'm just going to not be around you or whatever. And so, or be in a stream with you or whatever the case may be. And I'm sure that's kind of how you feel with your unsaid thoughts or what have you about said people, or perhaps.
Yeah, so I mean, if I was gonna just paraphrase it in the most respectful way, I was dropping songs with titles like "Come Fuck the Stank Box" and fucking I don't know, "I'll shit in your pussy" and fucking just like real like vulgar shit like that for I don't know, years before Clockwork ever did. Like, I could honestly put up a list of their song title in like a blurb about the songs, and then a list of mine, and like ask people to decipher which ones who belongs to who, and it would be real fucking tough. And I don't know, it hits me weird. It hits me weird, especially when we had yeah, we had communicated multiple times before they even started making music. And so I have feelings about it that aren't 100% valid because obviously my existence is separate from their existence. And
Yeah,
obviously they
yeah,
have a
no.
real love for what they're doing and they have every right to do what they're doing. But I honestly feel like they're doing me just a little bit. And I
Yeah,
fucking.
maybe there should have been some homage or at least like a shout out, like, hey, I've listened to this dude shit. We might have
Yeah,
inspired.
and
Or
and maybe it's my fault. Maybe because like when they were right before they were coming up, I do remember them pushing hella hard, and I was super busy with my collab album with all the M&E artists, and I didn't show uh, I didn't show them like any attention in that part of I didn't show anyone any attention in that part of my life. And so, and then, yeah, I don't know. But we did talk a couple times between that and them really blowing up the way they did. So, it is what it
Yeah.
is. Favorite horror movies, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
I would
But,
say Jeepers Creepers holds a place for me, the first one, just because that was probably the first movie that actually kind of scared me as a kid. I'm like, that fucking something about that truck, man, just,
but
I don't know, it
also,
done something to me.
I am a kind of person, I like to let people know that there is a huge difference between what I think is my favorite and what I think is the best. So, like, I think that I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre is my favorite horror movie, but honestly, I think Hereditary is the best horror movie ever made. It's
I
not.
don't think
It's
I've seen it.
oh, dude,
What's it about?
bro.
Hereditary, so it's some kind of genetic mutation that's fucking people up?
It's yeah, but it's also witchcraft.
Oh, okay. I
So
just went off of the title and like
no, you're
Hereditary.
you're you're totally right. If you intertwine that thought process with witchcraft, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, it's super occult. It's the kind of movie where genuinely I've seen it probably like 10 times, and every time I watch it, I learn a new thing and link something new together.
Hell
It,
yeah.
it's really, and they hit all the fucking, they hit, it's got gruesome gore, it's got fucking jump scares, it's got all kinds of shit. And so,
The Exorcists don't scare me. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just seen what they said. The Exorcists don't really like. I don't know. Yeah, I would say it's a well put together movie, I guess, but it wasn't that for me. I don't know.
um, from a biblical sense, it's a scary fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially like if you're Catholic and you went to fucking church every day, like that movie will really fuck you up.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't somehow miss the boat on it as a kid. There was this point where, when I was like 14, 15 years old, me and the homies were playing with Ouija boards a lot out in this country house. Yeah, out in the fucking country. And every time we pulled out the Ouija board, we would hear rats running through the wall at like volume 10. And so then at a later moment, I said that to someone, and they were like, "Oh, you mean in like in The Exorcist?" And I was like, "I don't know, I've never seen The Exorcist." And then I went and watched The Exorcist. 100%, it was exactly like that, and never, genuinely, never fucking played with a Ouija board ever again. So,
Bro, so I've had some weird occurrences that I don't know is true. Anybody can just like I don't know tell somebody something da 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 da. But it's one of those scenarios like supposedly somebody in our group their grandfather was summoned and like nobody would have known and they started freaking out and everything like so and then that natural just kind of like freakish vibe and then we're all kids and stuff. My brother Donnie though told me like some legitimate they had like a bone and hide like original Ouija board type beat, and supposedly that thing like flew up in the air type shit. Like, and that's what I mean. And that goes back to me being optimistic. I know there's ghosts and spirits of shit, but that don't mean I believe your ghost story. You know, did I see the board fly up or I don't know, but I also know enough to know if you fuck around with shit like that, you're gonna find
you're
out.
gonna find
So
out.
you're welcoming the possibility, if
Well,
not the full blow potential.
yeah, as I studied witchcraft a lot too. In like fourth grade, we moved into this house, and in the basement there was a bunch of witchcraft stuff, and I leaned into it super heavy. And so before we started playing with the Ouija board, I learned that it's like really all about respect. So I do believe that if you try to fuck around in a disrespectful manner, that you're not going to get a response. It's like the same thing as if like some kid you don't know comes up and starts being a piece of shit. Like you're not gonna do anything about it. You're just gonna walk away from that kid. And so like fucking I mean hopefully there's not viewers
Right,
out there
unless
that are like,
it's
I'll hit that kid. But yeah, fucking yeah. As long as you approach it with respect, then you definitely will fucking find out. And uh it's not gonna be all happy because
Right.
happiness is a weird chemical thing, and it doesn't supersede fucking phantasmic realities.
Yeah, I think that's a truth. A person, I don't know how to word that without it just sounding like rhetoric or redundant, but like you you create your possibility, like your scenarios, or you can, like,
Oh
just
yeah, no, 100%, dude. Like when little kids tell me their like ghost stories, I believe a lot of them because like genuinely, and I could break it down, but just to paraphrase, reality is based off of your perception. You can metaphysically alter it at a certain scale, and the more like pain that you experience, not just emotionally, but like physical pain you experience, the more you feel caged by the reality that you have control over. And so when you get older, you experience enough pain that you feel more like existence within that reality than existing as that reality. So kids have the ability to like manifest things like ghosts and shit like that, real quick little phantasmic relays of maybe past timelines or other things that occurred in that central space and time. And so yeah, little kids see shit that's probably real is all I'm saying.
right. And your animals. If my cat's looking at a fucking corner in the wall, like hissing at that bitch, there might be something there, and we
Oh
just gonna go on. My house is 100 years old, so there's a chance there's something kind of hanging around. Also, Lord Farquaad said, "Have you heard of a dye bot box? Is that like bloodletting? What are we talking about here? What's a
no,
dye biot box?
die boy.
I don't think I've heard of it."
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of it either. Oh, like Schrodinger's box, maybe? Because that is
Uh,
what I'm talking about. Like you don't know what state Schrodinger's cat exists in until you open the box, and it exists in a super state until you open the
a
box.
divot box.
Um, divot box. Yeah, I don't know.
The only time
Maybe
I've heard the reference to divot is in golf. Like, I'm fixing a divot, and it's a thing,
Space Jam.
unlevelness in the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Again, I'm not smart. I just know some terms or
I don't. Yeah,
whatever.
I don't know shit about golf, but I know that scene on Space Jam where Newman's like,
Yeah, I'm fixing a
"I'm fixing a divot."
divot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
At any rate, we have gotten to these game questions. If we want to go ahead and run through
Yeah.
it, man,
Let's do it.
you're gonna be up there with one of my longest interviews, honestly, which is
Hell yeah.
okay. I've had a good time.
Hell yeah. Thanks.
The game questions are just either or, man. I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm just gonna give you one or two options, and you pick either or you can suggest an alternative if one of those don't fit your preference. um, so we're gonna start with an easy one. Twix or Reese's?
Twix.
All right. That might not have been so easy.
Just a second. Just a second. And I know like it's impossible to know, but just as a wild guess, how many Reese's products do you think there are?
Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna try to put a real thought to this really quick. 1,342.
That's a guess for sure. That's a lot of stuff though. I was surprised to find out that it's over 100.
Oh, okay. I'm way off. I didn't want to say some little shit because think about it. Like, are you talking about like individual different like Reese's candy types? Like you have the fast break and the crumb, or what the hell is it? There's caramel ones. There's
Yeah,
chocolate in
yeah,
them.
yeah,
There's fully covered chocolate Reese's.
yeah.
There's little Reese's pieces. There's the little Reese's cups. There's the
But
minis. There's the. So I was trying to. I'm thinking there's a lot, but what's the number?
there's that changes all the time because they're always making new products. It's over 100 though. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I can name like 10 Reese's candies off the top of my head, but like I didn't even think about like Reese's cereal, Reese's brownie mix, Reese's
Oh
actual peanut
yeah.
butter, fucking like Reese's. They have uh waffles that you put in the toaster. Fucking like
There's probably a milk or something,
the
or
Reese's. Yeah, they have the Reese's pie in the freezer. Like fucking yeah, they have all. Dude, they have their hands in anything you could chocolate peanut butter. They
it's
chocolate peanut
crazy.
butter like a
And I mean,
motherfucker, dude.
a Reese's T-shirt would be a Reese's product.
That's what I'm talking
So
about
a
too. Yeah,
T-shirt in crazy,
it's crazy.
crazy. I never thought like that,
But yeah,
or at least looked into
I'm more of a
it.
caramel crunch kind of guy.
Hell yeah! All right, summer or winter?
Fuck. Am I rich or am I poor?
Oh,
Fucking
yeah.
I mean like if I'm doing all right, I prefer the winter. I really like to snowboard. I like being able to like get the whole family in a cabin. You know what I'm saying? And fucking have
Right.
like a big fire outside and fucking I like snowball fights and fucking yeah, dude, going sledding and all that shit. And so like
Absolutely.
if you got snow in I don't we only get snow for like two maybe like 2 to 3 weeks here, but like the mountains will have snow for like 2 to 3 months out of the year. And so
Right.
yeah, there's only one season, like the winter season, that we really get to enjoy it. Um, and so yeah, I mean I have a lot, but like if I don't have that much money, then I'm inside all winter and I fucking hate it. I get all depressed. But like in the summer, it doesn't matter, dude. Camping is cheap, bro. If you already have the like tent and
The
shit,
gear, like a
like
tent
yeah,
already, or
tents are
yeah.
expensive and sleeping bags are expensive. I get that. But if you already have all the shit, dude, you can go camping for free. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah.
I can spend all summer like we have like a lot of nature in Oregon. And so I can spend all summer camping and swimming in really clean rivers and like just doing really cool shit for free. And I
That's
like that
beautiful.
shit. But like honestly, if I had to choose between camping and going snowboarding, I would rather go snowboarding.
Oh shit. I don't like the cold, man. And like we get cold temperatures, but we haven't had a good blanket of snow here in the Midwest and I don't know how long now, really. Like it's been kind of weird. We'll get like little bits, like enough to be slushy and a mess and cold and nasty, maybe 6, 7 inches here and there, and then it just dissipates, but it's still cold and
Yeah.
miserable forever. Like I don't like cold.
If it's in
I would
that,
literally live in a southern state if I didn't dislike hurricanes more than cold.
yeah. If it's an
So,
activity, I don't mind it. Something in my brain, like all the dopamine or whatever, just doesn't pay attention to the cold. But like if I'm just chilling in my house, dude, if my house is 55 degrees, I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So like I do prefer warmth to cold, but like I don't know, dude, all the shit you have to wear when you snowboard makes you fucking sweat. Honestly, you're fucking high if you're snowboarding and then like I also think about like I was that kid who was like out playing in the snow in like a t-shirt and some fucking shitty jeans or whatever, and then the
Yeah.
other kids' moms would see me and be like, "Holy fuck, dude, here's a sweater," or you know what I'm saying?
You
Fucking
got socks on your hands, they got gloves. That's the
bro,
difference between me and
hey,
you, motherfucker.
yeah,
You
for real, for
know?
real, for real.
Yeah, that's great. No, I feel it. Winter activities, but summer weather. Uh, okay, day or night?
Fuck.
I'm a night owl. I don't do getting up early unless I absolutely have to. Even though they say it's proven just in nature that we are at our best in the morning when we wake up or something. As you said, dopamine's everything's going, pumping, whatever. But not me.
Yeah,
I hate the fucking morning.
that really relies on depends on genetics too. Like tribally, we had people who were assigned to be awake while everybody slept in order to make sure the tigers didn't come in and eat the babies and shit like that.
Right.
And so like there was like a group of people who like fucking was awake all night. Like that was their social circle. They were like the night people, for lack of better terms. And so fucking like that, doing that for fucking hundreds of years genetically alters people too. So there are people who do better at nighttime. I have insomnia, but yeah, I think I prefer the night. I don't know. It depends. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you this. Like mid afternoon is okay. I'm not
I
getting up at
prefer
7 a.m. for nothing unless I absolutely have to. And like for work, when I do truck, I have to get up at 4 a.m. sometimes, and I fucking hate it. But then about an hour or two, if I do get up, once I get into it and past it, then that being awake is okay.
yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, okay, now I can still go do something today or whatever. But generally, I'm okay with sleeping until 11 noon and then starting my day and
I
staying
think
up until 3 a.m. You
I
know.
think I think a perfect day for me, like if I wasn't a part of a social construct, would be like 7 p.m. to 10 a.m. is I would want a little bit of sun in the beginning of my day and then a shit ton of night. And then before I go to sleep, I would like to go on a morning stroll. Dude, I fucking love walks in the morning. The air
Oh
is like
yeah, man.
crisp and
That was the
fucking,
joy of Walmart at 3 a.m. and they had to take it away from us, them
yeah.
bitches.
Right when the sun's peeking up, the air's still wet. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And so like if I could go on a morning walk right before bed, you know what I'm saying? Like that would be
Oh
ideal.
yeah.
Um
Absolutely. Um.
Unfortunately, that just doesn't work in society.
Right. Uh. Truck or car?
Oh, dude. I have such so I grew up like the first like I want to say like 8 years of my life I grew up on like a farm, like a big farm, and that's what my family did up until that point. They were all farmers. And so like my grandpa, my great grandpa always had a big truck because like he hauls cattle, he hauls hay, like he actually hauls stuff, so he needs like the big truck. Um and so like that makes sense to me. But like
Right.
if he was driving into town, he would take his car. He had a car to go like get groceries in fucking I don't know, whatever the fuck he would do in town. And so like he wasn't driving through town in his big ass truck. Today, in today's society where there's like almost no farmers, when I see big trucks on the road, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck? What are you actually using this truck for? Like, why are you paying so much in fucking gas? Like, you have nothing. Your truck bed looks like it's never had anything in it in his whole fucking life. Fuck that.
Right.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I get the necessity of trucks, and I think that if people's life demands that they use a truck, that like, then hell yeah, dude, I fuck with your truck heavy. But I think that if you fucking have a 9 to 5 and you have a truck, I think that that's fucking whack.
I get it. You can always earn $1 with
with
a truck, though.
with the exceptions of like smaller trucks. Say you have like a Toyota pickup, you know what I'm saying? And like it's not,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't haul something with it if you fucking other than like a car maybe if you
A
needed to.
little desk or
You
entertainment
you
center.
damn sure couldn't fit hay bales in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so fucking
Oh, hay bale. One hay
yeah,
bale.
two tops. Yeah. Fucking that's totally different to me. I don't prefer to drive those, but like I don't see those trucks and be like, what the fuck is this person doing? And then there are like I have a homie who's like dad. His whole life has like this like he gets it repainted like every 2 years or whatever, but it's like this fucking crimson red, like small truck. It's lowered. It's got fucking yo, it's gorgeous. It's been gorgeous for like 20 years now, and I fuck with that. But like that's at the other like that's his baby, you know what I'm saying? Like it's impossible to
Right.
look at something and be like that someone takes care of and be like fuck that. So
Right. Yeah.
there's always a gray area, but yeah, it's cars for sure.
Absolutely. All right. You're going out on a date with your sweetheart, whoever that may be. Are you going for a movie night or are you going roller skating?
Oof. In my current situation, I would go movie night. But that being said, like if I was with someone who roller skated, Like, and that's what they wanted to do. I would way prefer to do that than do a movie night.
Right.
Like, I skateboard, and I've been with other people who skateboard, and it's kind of cool to be able to go skate like with your significant other. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I would
Probably
pick
movie
movie
night.
right now. But yeah, like if the person that I was with rollerbladed, then I would
It'd
pick
be
movie.
on.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
really
like to
would.
rollerblade myself,
Yeah,
freestyle.
same.
And
Yeah,
I can't skate like I can ride around on a skateboard. I never could do tricks. I could like drop in a half pipe, whatever, but I was never too good at it. I'd rather freestyle or rollerblade around or whatever.
yeah. I was really fucking good at skateboarding when I was a kid. I'm not that good anymore. Like, obviously, I could do like a kickflip and like shit like that. I can make it look like I'm good at skating, but like, if somebody showed up who was actually good at skating, they would fucking punk me.
Make
But
it.
when I was a kid, I was about it, and then I got in like a stupid abusive relationship when I was like 15, and then I didn't skate from like 15 to like 20, and things hurt worse when you're 20.
Yeah. We're not as limber anymore and stuff. All right, the next one is for your fans. Which are you more active on, Facebook or Instagram, and then TikTok or X, aka Twitter or old Twitter?
Facebook Messenger, hit me up. On there, it says my name is Billy Ray Whitfield. It makes me do that. That's a whole long story. Call me Billy. Don't call me Billy Ray. That's not my name. Uh,
Uh,
Fucking, but yeah, hit me up on there. I do check my Instagram, but I never really post on there too much. Like, I don't always check it either. Like, you sent me that invitation or whatever. Like, I had no idea you sent that to me.
oh
Um,
yeah,
but like, I want to say I check it like once a week at least. But yeah, I don't. I used to do TikTok stuff. I used to do this thing where I would like find people who do rap challenges, and I would like do like diss tracks in between their pauses. So I would diss them for what they were rapping, and I called it
right.
shit. I called it shit talk, and that was popping for a little bit. But yeah, I don't really do TikTok. I don't really do X. Social media is really not my jam. I stay on
Right,
Facebook though. That's where I do most of my promoting, and that's where I talk to most of my homies.
absolutely. Uh, Pepsi products or Coke products?
Oh, Coke. Well, fuck products. When it comes to Pepsi or Coke, it's fucking Coke all the way. When it comes to products, though, what the fuck? I really like.
Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper's my shit. I gotta
I,
go with Pepsi products, but I agree Coke tastes better than Pepsi.
I don't really fuck with Mountain Dew like the original, but I do like fucking like Livewire, which only is out in the summer, and some of the Baja Blast. Oh, I fuck with the Baja Blast. Yeah,
Right,
I mean, if I
Code
had to
Red's
choose,
okay.
yeah, if I had to choose Baja Blast or fucking any other soda, I would choose Baja Blast. So I guess also who makes Squirt?
I
Squirt's my
think
shit.
that's Coke.
Fuck.
No. Yeah,
If,
he said I'm
if
torn. I don't know. I just like some shit.
yeah, if the question comes down to Squirt versus Baja Blast, I'm picking Squirt. So
All right, and if it has to be a Fago,
oh fuck.
my go-to is firework right now. But I used to love cotton candy.
I
The candy apple's okay for a treat, and the dreamin' is it's okay on ice cream. But otherwise, it ain't my favorite.
I don't like cherry too much, so the fireworks not really my jam. I my go-to is probably the blue raspberry. Fucking I all their root beer, Fago root beer. Honestly, like if I'm talking to a root beer connoisseur, like I think Fago root beer is in like top four best root beers. Fucking
Yeah, just flat
and if
out for
we're
the
if we're talking about fucking like not in a glass bottle root beer, I think it's top two. So Fago root beer is the bomb. But like honestly, to get so like you can get Fago in my hood, but like it doesn't sell fast. So then it becomes about finding not only someone who sells it, but someone who sells fresh Fago. Because I genuinely I could walk like 4 blocks right now and go buy a flat Fago. Like there's kids who have
Yeah.
had Fago bottles for like 2 years. They're just waiting for juggalos to swoop through and buy or something. But there is like a few places that I go to regularly that restock it all the time. And so I do personally get fresh Fagos, but yeah, at the end of the day, I'd rather get a Shasta.
I was
And
about to say, yeah, what's your Shasta flavor?
ooh, orange or grape, maybe strawberry kiwi. Yeah, strawberry kiwi for the win.
Real midget. Stefan's other half. Well, nice to meet you. I don't know if you were in his stream when I interviewed him, but I was about to say I don't recognize that screen name. Regardless, thank you very much. And Stefan, I don't know how to say it, and he told me it doesn't matter. Say it one way or the other.
That's
He'll
funny because
respond and it doesn't offend him.
I knew who you were talking about, but I've been calling him Steven in my head this whole time. So
Me too.
shout out
Okay,
Steven.
I literally, that was my big thing. I was calling him for the longest time. I'm like, Steven, and who was it that corrected me? Some other homie was like, it's actually Stefan, but whatever. Sorry, homie. At any rate, Mrs. Steven Stefan, thanks for coming in. Yeah. Pie or cake, man?
Oh shit, pie.
Yeah. Uh, I love how that you're just like, oh shit. Do you like crumble? I'll throw that one in the mix or crisp.
Yeah, dude, I cook like a motherfucker and I bake like a wizard. And so yeah, I really do fuck with crumble. I fuck with all desserts really. But yeah, crisp. Yeah, if you said cake, pie, or crisp, I would probably pick crisp. So
That's right. It was Rig Man. You're right. I knew somebody called me out on it. They're like, you're saying his name wrong, but he don't care. And yeah, crisp is the shit, boy. All right, you're forced to make either a 3 mile walk in the rain or a 5 mile walk in the desert, provided water in a couple shade spots so you don't dehydrate.
you said a 3 mile walk in the rain?
Yeah, or a
Oh
five
yeah.
mile walk in the desert.
Yeah, I'm from Oregon. We 3 mile walk in the rain, that's a day. That's a regular day here. I'll
Oh
take
shit!
I'll take
He
a three
said,
mile
"All
walk in the
right." That's smart, and that makes sense. I've only had a handful of people say the desert, and that's because they're from like around Arizona, and it's natural to them.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes sense. Um, all right. So this is just a outright question, a little trivial thing that I add in the mix. We're right near the end, man. I appreciate it. It's been
Yeah,
three
I'm
hours.
having a good time. I'm having a good ass time.
You're given $5,000 cash money, but you have to pick one store and spend it all immediately. This can also be an online store if you want it to be, but it has to be an actual physical store. Can't be the drug dealer. It can't be fucking McDonald's or something. You know, it's got to be a store.
You said 1,000?
5,000.
5,000.
And it can be local to you. It ain't got to be a chain or, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But where are you going to spend 5 racks?
That's a good ass question. My initial thought was so like I am a fucking sucker for really good soaps. I buy my soaps from a company called Lush, and they're expensive. And I was like, fucking man, I could stock up on that. But also, their soaps are all natural and they expire, so I wouldn't want to stock up
On that
that
much?
much on them. Yeah, I'd have to use them real fast. I would smell hella good though. But fucking. So then I go to music. Podcast stuff. Oh shit, Best Buy. Yeah, Best Buy's the answer for sure. I was in Best
All
Buy.
right.
I was buying a new TV like a month ago, and I saw this setup for everything that I need for like what I want to do with my podcast. Because right now we're just working with one mic. It's a really nice mic, but we're just working with one mic, and it's kind of annoying. And I want the whole setup. I want fucking 4 mics all connected to one pad that I
Oh yeah,
control.
you're speaking my language now.
And fucking, I think that whole thing together was like $2,000 or some shit like that. And
Damn.
so, and then from there, I would just stack on. I've already had
Yeah.
my whole podcast studio is painted green, so the whole room is a green screen, and I have all the professional lighting. I would probably get a new camera though, like something that records in 4K just for the fuck of it. Uh, yeah, Best Buy would be it. And then yeah, I might need some furniture too, and they sell like fucking furniture and shit there too. So
Yeah, bro. I ain't mad at that answer whatsoever. There is so much. My laptop, I'm making payments on right now from Best Buy, and I got an art room type that I normally try to record in. My ring light actually went out, so I'd buy me. I need new lights. I need new equipment. That's the best answer I think I've heard, only because I relate, man. So bad. I'm operating on my cell phone. I got a laptop. I just got a new cam for it, but we don't have internet in our house because we're broke motherfuckers right now. Shit sucks. But so I just work with what I got, and you can get by with a cell phone for the majority of stuff. But if I was given that opportunity, I would probably do the same thing, man. Stop playing around, get a good setup, and then I'd ask if I could pay an internet bill. But no, I feel it. Um, all right, so I just got three fill in the blanks left for you, man. The first one goes as follows. My favorite vacation was blank.
shit. Probably the gathering. If I was gonna, yeah, I would totally count that as a
And that
vacation.
is
I,
absolutely
I,
acceptable.
I mean, dude, like I had just started. I worked for T-Mobile for like 6 years, but at the time I had just started working there. I was like right out of training, and I didn't even fucking request the time off or anything because I didn't have it. I just bailed and like hoped that
See,
I
I'm
had a
gone.
yeah, hoped that I had a job when I got back. And then when I got back, they just let me stay. I made up some excuse that I was like too sick to even fucking handle it.
Call.
Fucking
4 days. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that
Okay,
was
yeah,
pretty
that
cool.
counts.
Yeah, this one time, me and my kids went up. I got us like this cabin up in it's at a place called Mount Hood, and it was like a bunch of snow, and we were all just all chilling in the cabin, like playing games. They were all still like really young at the time too, so they were like fascinated with things like snow and like building a fire and like just all the little cool games that you can play and fucking that was pretty chill too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Solid answer as well. I didn't get to do a lot of growing up in school and shit. Everybody goes on vacation, right? You're the kids you go to school with and stuff. We didn't get to do that. Like we went to Six Flags maybe once because it was right there. We lived by St. Louis Six Flags. So I like to ask that question and just hear other. And I've got a lot of good answers from that very question. So it's just fun to see what people say. I can kind of live in my head through that experience, so that's kind of neat. And I can relate to the gathering. I put it on there as like probably one of my best vacations,
Y-
truthfully. So
Yeah,
yeah,
my grandpa's side of the family, he's one of I want to say 9 kids. And like his mom, okay, well, so like half of his siblings, their dad was like super rich. And this is before you had society said that you should love the kids that weren't yours. And so
yeah,
like my grandpa didn't get any of his money, but like half of his siblings are like still super rich off of that. And they we do family reunions every year. I haven't been to it in fuck like 5 years, but there was a while when we were growing up that they would host it in a different state every time and like help pay for people's travel and shit and fucking so we would go to a different part of the state every year or a different state every year uh, for like a week and stay at some like fucking, I don't know, like lodge or some shit like that.
Resort or something, yeah.
And so that was pretty cool, but it wasn't ever really like a sightseeing kind of thing. It was always just like staying at that one location.
Right, here we are. We're family. At least we're in a different state. Yeah, no.
So I
I
can
mean,
say
that
that
would
I've
have
been to
been,
other states, but I never really experienced them.
yeah, yeah. That'd been interesting. I think I've been to like 7 states in my life.
Also, one of my grandmas fucking hustled really hard to take us to Disneyland when I was a little kid, and that was pretty fucking sick.
Hell yeah. It always means more like that. That's what's up. The next question I have for you is the bicycle I had most as a kid was blank.
Stolen.
That's the answer, boy. That's a real answer. But if I'm at church, you know what I'm saying. My answer is probably a mongoose or a next.
Oh,
And I had the mags and the pegs, or I tried to, like the fat boys.
so yeah, I think the only bike I was ever bought was a mongoose, and I did like it, and I rode it until it fucking couldn't be ridden anymore, or I was too big for it, or whatever. But yeah, like by the time I want to say I was like 11 years old, if I was like walking from one place to another, I never got fucking rides or whatever. But my mom never gave a shit where I was, so I would walk all over town. And if I saw a bike in
Yep.
someone's front yard, I would just ride it to almost to where I was going and drop
And
it
dip
off in
it.
some. Yeah, I just put it in someone else's front yard.
Our local pond got cleared every 3 to 5 years, and that's all they would find, bro, was bicycles in that bitch.
Well, I found because it's small town, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did find that like like I would see those bikes back at their original houses, now locked up outside. But like
Yeah.
I did witness multiple accounts of the bikes making it back home, and then sometimes I would see the bikes that made it back to their original houses in the same situation, and I'm like, bro, you're just fucking asking for it, you know?
Exactly. If you're gonna leave your bike by the sidewalk, I'm trying to get to A to B. I don't even personally hate you or dislike you. You just fucked up. You left your bike where I could get on it.
Yeah,
And
but yeah,
yeah.
I never like threw them into like water or like into the
Oh,
or hid them or
yeah, there's a
anything.
couple times. I
I,
mean,
I would just I'd just lay them down in plain sight, or like a lot of my friends, because like the town that I grew up in has 7 parks in it. Tiny town, 7 parks, fucking insane. And so like most people live near a park, so a lot of the times I would just like leave it at the park and then go to their house.
right. Yeah, I used to be a little shithead. Some people didn't get their bike back, I'm sure. Or they found it when they drained the local pond.
I mean, I definitely wasn't coming back home with a stolen bike. My mom would have beat the shit out of me for it. So it's like,
Right, right.
fuck it.
Uh, all right, man. The last fill in the blank I have for you is this goes freshwater or saltwater. The best part about the beach is blank.
I fucking hate the beach, dude.
What?
Fucking well, you gotta realize I grew up on the West Coast. Like the beach is from where I'm at right now an hour away, but I also spent a lot of time in a town called Lincoln City, which is a beach town. I don't fuck with sand. The fucking ocean's cold. Like I go to the beach like 4 times a year, and I go there just because like my kids have a lot of fun there, and I do have fun with my kids there. But like, yeah, if my homies were like, "Hey, we're gonna go drop acid on the beach, bro," I love doing acid. I'd be like, "Why on the beach?
No!
I think I'm just gonna chill, dude." Like, I really
Damn
don't like,
it!
I really don't like sand. I really
You're
don't like
breaking me
being.
down, bro. What if
I,
it's just at a lake
that's
and there
different.
ain't no sand and there's grass and dirt?
That's chill. That's totally chill, dude. If the ocean met up at like the grass, I would love that, dude. I'd be all about that.
Highway at Midnight. Whoop, whoop. What up, though? I don't think I've
Yes,
seen that
yes.
name before. You're catching us at the end of a 3 hour stream, Highway at Midnight. You need to hit rewind and go back and watch this whole thing. But before you even waste your time doing that, just go look up this man's music. I
But
appreciate
yeah,
you coming through, though.
I like I spent so much time on the beach as like a adolescent. Like the first time I ever touched another girl's boob, I was on the beach.
Ooh,
Fucking like,
yeah,
and
tacos at the
I
beach.
have a lot of good beach memories. But yeah, it got to the point where I was like so sick of having fucking sand in my shoes and sand in my pockets and fucking, bro, I fucking hate sand. I hate it so
Well, at
much.
least you didn't give the given like boobs, women in bikinis. That's nice too. Don't get it twisted. Call me a hippie. What you don't like, I love. I love
It's
standing on the edge of the water with my toes in the water and in the sand and looking abroad and realizing you will never be bigger than Mother Nature. You'll never beat her. It's beautiful, it's euphoric, it doesn't even have to be a beach for me. I'll go hug a fucking tree. I ain't even got to be hugging it, but go sit in the woods by myself and just listen, take it in. You know what I'm saying? Like, just realize there's something bigger than you, a bigger thing, and that's my favorite part about the beach. It ain't because there's people or women running around half naked, or I can get high at home, you know what I'm saying? As you said, I ain't gotta be somewhere to be, oh well, I'm high at the beach. No, I mean, cool, but you know what I'm saying, like it doesn't, there's something different about it. That's really a moment for me. If I ain't got no money, no nothing, and I really just need a release, let me go sit by the river, you know what I'm saying, and just listen to the water crashing. And again, that might be the inner hippie or something. And that's a weird concept because some people will say you can't be a juggalo and a hippie, but
It's the same thing, honestly. Like that was like my grandpa's big thing. Is he's always like, you kids don't see this, but like you guys are just this is what hippies were. Like what you guys are doing right now is exactly what hippies were. It's all about free speech, being yourself, saying fuck you, and a vibe that you understand. The only thing that's changed is the vibe, the
right,
rebellion of independence via the communication of shared music. That's what it fucking was. So
right,
yeah, same vibe for sure. And
absolutely.
fucking what were we talking about right before that? I feel like I had a thing. Maybe I don't.
Before before the beach and thing
No,
was
right before you said you were
oh
talking
about
about
the
hippies. I'm stoned.
well, I was talking about hug a tree and like just
Oh,
me being the
That's it. Thank you. Thank you. My favorite thing to do, because all about grounding with nature. Uh, my favorite thing to do is try to pay attention to the patterns. Like genuinely, nature doesn't have to be structured in any sort of like pattern. It can be chaotic and still get the job done, like photosynthesis and get water and all that cool shit. And so,
mm-hmm.
like, just paying attention to like the structure, you can tell that like even if it was the thing itself, that something living built it. I think that's super fucking cool.
Yeah, yeah. And that's just it too. Like I used to not be that way. You know what I'm saying? I just used to be in a dark, ugly place and blamed everybody and wouldn't even take responsibility for what was my fault in my life for the longest time, and put up my own void and block or whatever you want to call it. And I don't know. I guess just later in my life, I don't know. I've opened my third eye, damn it. I guess if you will, and. I don't know. I just have a whole new perspective, more or less, on life and whatnot, and I love it. I am glad that I found that, and like I've always been, I don't know, attached to nature, had a bond with, or kind of liked, animals, didn't like people, and nature was peaceful, obviously, and the city wasn't my thing per se, but as I got older, it was, I guess. more predominant or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Sorry. This is where I usually allow you to give some shout outs, man. If there's any last minute things, people, whoever you want to recognize or shout out or whatever, you can go ahead and do that. If you have anything that I might have missed that you might have wanted to ask me or something of that nature, you can go ahead. If I don't have your links already, which I feel like I do, but if I don't, I will have you send them to me and I expect demand. You know what I'm saying? But and we'll put them in the description of this video. They'll be right there on the top. So anybody that watches this all the way through, if you watch this for 3 hours and 18 minutes or even skip to this part, I fucking love you. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah.
His links will be in the description. Go check him out. Go follow him on his socials. If he shares that link to or whatever with us, and go show this man some support. He's dope. He's really about it. He ain't fake. He's obviously willing to just sit here and chop it up. And I usually don't promote other podcasts, but go subscribe to what is it? 17 Bowls?
Oh yeah.
He ain't gonna be doing it for 6 months, he said probably. But go get in there already. So when you see that notification, you're waiting for it. Go check out that podcast. I think it'd be pretty dope. I'm definitely gonna go do some back watching or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah.
17 Bulls. 17 Bulls has something like over 70 episodes. So there's a lot of stuff in there. And then, like, if long form's not really your thing, I'm all about making reels. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, you go to 17 Bulls, you can see all of our reels there. And, like, the reels are fucking hilarious. So even if you just want fucking 30 seconds to 2 minutes worth of fucking shit to laugh at, honestly, I definitely recommend checking out the Facebook page. And yeah, the podcast will be back. It's been gone for like 6 months, but it will be back in like I hope within the next 2 months. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. Fucking yeah, no, shout out to fucking everybody watching. I do have a question for you though. Do
Okay.
you know do you know who Kate Winslet is?
No.
You ever seen Titanic?
Yeah.
Okay, she's the chick from the Titanic. Do you
Rose?
know Yeah. Do you know who
Okay.
Jude Law is?
I've heard that name, but
Have you
I'm
seen
not.
Have you seen Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah.
He's Watson, so not Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
Okay, so we have both these characters in our head now. Who
Yeah.
do you think would win in a fight to the death?
Oh my God! Stop. Oh, bro. You said her name is Kate? See, I never knew that. Rose, she's a redhead. Well, I don't know if that's
Dude,
just
if it
on
helps
play.
if it helps in my mind, they're also fighting as Rose and Watson.
Like Rose I don't know. Yeah.
Fight to the death.
Man,
Hands, no weapons.
I don't know. Redheads are feisty, bro. They're mean. Man, damn it. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna say Kate, but I'm probably
Hell yeah.
wrong. I'm probably way.
Nah.
Yeah.
I give it to Kate all fucking day, dude.
Bro, she got that look. Even if it's acting in some of those scenes, bro, that fucking fire. Like if that was real,
Yeah. No,
woo.
she could throw some fucking bows for sure. Like yeah,
Yes.
Jude Law's like 6 foot tall. He's skinny, but he's got reach and stuff. Like it would be a really good fight. But I think at the end of the day, fucking Kate Winslet would
She
fucking
getting in there.
murder.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I like to end my streams the same way every time. I don't know if you've ever seen the end of one of my streams, and that's okay. But I like to end my streams by saying, "Tell somebody you love them." Okay. I haven't skipped a beat in 111, and I won't stop. You don't know who needs to hear that, and it could be you that alters their way of thinking, their course of action, their path. They may be very stressed out or just overlooking the answer that you've already been through and you have, and it's just skipping them, and you can help them out tremendously from making their situation worse or doing the ultimate no or you don't know. So don't conspicuously hate. I think I walk a fine balance of fuck you and Wiggles loves you. You know what I'm saying? And I mean that with my whole heart. When I tell a stranger I love you, I fucking love you. You know what I'm saying? Unless I got a reason not to. Because I used to not. I used to just hate, because I was mad at myself, my life, things I couldn't control. You don't know what somebody's going through, but you could change it for the better. So just tell somebody you love them. When I was 19 and homeless, nobody thought I was. They just thought I was a dirty kid on a park bench. Nobody said, hey, I can't give you no money, but I'll listen to you. Nobody said that shit. You know what I'm saying? So just think about, how you approach and address people. And if you don't want to tell a stranger you love them, please tell them Wiggles loves them. Okay? I take that. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you, everybody. Dopey, thank you for coming on my stream, bro. It's been tight. It's been
Hell yeah.
awesome. Hell, 3.5 hours.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
you didn't let out, and I appreciate that. You really gave me true answers and stuff. So, thanks, man. And I hope you get some new viewers or whatever from this. And hey, don't be a stranger. We definitely homies now. I
Fuck
appreciate you,
yeah,
man.
dude. Fuck yeah. It's been fun, man.
Yep.
Whoop
Whoop
whoop.
whoop.